Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Tyvis Powell, Jason Lloyd. Plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome one and all to the latest edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Along with Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, I'm Adam the Bull. We got a lot to get to today. The Guardians lose. How much do we blame Stephen Vogt for that? The Browns, well, hopefully they're going to be winners. We'll find out as the season goes along. And the Cavaliers still looking for a new head coach. Plus, did their two best young players make the list of the 25 best young players? That's all coming up. Mikey McNuggets, no Earl today. Is Earl feeling better? Is he working it from home?
He is. No, he's with his mom right now. She's having a checkup. So.
Oh, okay.
Earl can't. He can't catch a break these days. So we wish him the best.
It was a scheduled checkup. This was
okay. Good.
A scheduled
Good.
appointment.
All right. Good. And Steve, of course, and Anthony behind the glass.
You don't even have to mention him. So
no mention of Steve. You think?
For what?
He's not worthy of a mention.
No, he knows that.
There you go, Tyvis.
Well, more importantly, if you're in Rocky River, drive as fast as you want right now because all the cops are on the off-ramp by the high school.
Right. Now all the kids in the Rocky River are going to die because the people are driving like lunatics. You're invited.
I mean, it took me I was almost late today. Like, today was really close. I'm like, what is going on? There's never traffic.
You were scared?
There was some truck pulled off with, like, literally 5 Rocky River cops behind it. So I don't know if it's, like, illegal and it just takes the entire city of Rocky River to chase them down. I don't know what it was, but if you're in Rocky River right now, you got probably about another 15, 20 minutes. You go as fast as you want because all the cops are on the
You want to advise them to commit crimes too?
I'm not encouraging them to. I'm just giving them their options.
Yeah.
You were scared driving, like, oh my goodness, I'm not going.
Well, I'm watching because, like, I never use a GPS, obviously.
Yeah.
But then when you hit traffic, I'm like, all right,
let's see how long it's going to take.
And I turned it on as Mike was calling, and it said 11:01. And I was like, well, that's a problem. So,
I mean, people come here late all the time. I think G. Bushton came on late and Mike Duff. I came on late.
I have never been late.
I've never been late. It was the closest
I came on late because it was an accident in Columbus. And I had left the house at like 8 o'clock. It was an accident, and they had everything back up for like an hour. And I was just sitting there like, I think I'm going to be late. So I came in.
Thank you.
And I was late for like 3 minutes.
You and I have never. Jay's never been late. I mean, Jay comes in.
Jay has been late.
I'm about to say
car accident.
Oh well, that doesn't count. When you get T-boned, that doesn't really count.
Jake, because he gets here.
You know what?
Like 10 seconds before the show. But he's always here.
If Jay would have left the house at a reasonable time, he wouldn't have even met this guy that T-boned him, and he would have been fine.
No, you can't hold that.
By the way, I'm pretty sure I've never been late for a show ever in my entire career. 25 years, right?
I think I've been late to 2 shows in my life.
So there you go. Well, but when I was working in New York, I worked different hours all the time. I was a fill-in guy, and in New York, it's your local 24/7. Yeah. So you can be working any hours. I worked overnights, whatever. So I would always, and with New York, and I would drive because I worked mostly odd hours. It wasn't like, and I lived in a part of New Jersey that was not convenient to take a train. So the mileage from where I was living in New Jersey to the studio, especially when I first started there, it was in Astoria, Queens, but then it moved to downtown New York. And I was probably where I lived in Bayonne from when the studio was and still is on Hudson Street, just outside the not the Lincoln Tunnel, the Hudson Tunnel. Hudson Tunnel? Why does that sound wrong?
It doesn't matter.
Jeez, it's been a long time. Anyway, I probably lived, 8 miles away. Like, it should have taken me no time. But anyway, it on average, it would take me probably 45 minutes to an hour to get to work. On average.
8 minutes or 8 miles?
Yeah. But
see, that's why nope.
It's crazy. But if you worked on a Friday afternoon or random times on a Saturday, it could take an hour and a half. It could take whatever. There was one time I was supposed to be on Friday at 6:30. I left my house at 4 o'clock. And I was in the elevator sweating bullets as the commercial break was playing before my show was supposed to start.
Wow.
I called them. I'm like, I'm going to make it. They're playing the commercials, and I got in. It took me 2.5 hours.
I've done that in Columbus to where so luckily our stuff starts on the hour, so 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So I was working at 6 o'clock, and at 6 they play the Sports Center update every hour. So I had that to help me make it on time. While he's saying, while he's wrapping it up, I'm running through the door, he kicking the door open to get in the chair before the thing.
You procrastinators.
Please.
We gotta be like Jason.
Because when you hit unexpected traffic,
never know. That's why you leave early. Anyway, Tyvus, you hit a big parlay the other day. Before we get to
should have bet more.
Shut up. What did you bet? $10?
I had 3 separate parlays.
Okay.
One consisted of $10, one was $5, and one was $3. So the 10 and the 3 was the ones that I did. Straight money line on baseball games.
Yeah.
The $5 one, my friend actually made it and sent it to me and said, hey, you should play. We was on the phone together. He was making it, and he was asking me my opinion about stuff. So we kind of combined our thoughts together to make that parlay. And I had put $5 on it, and all 3 ended up hitting. So it's a good night. $18 to $750. It's a good night. Shut up, Jason. Shut up.
Imagine you put 100 on
I know. I know. Just imagine if I put 10 on all of them. 10 is my limit. But
in all honesty, you do it the right way, because how many of those 10s have you missed on?
Of course.
Oh, yeah. And that's why it's like, it's $10. $100 a time? Oh, man.
I know.
I'll be calling for a loan.
I can't help it. Every time I win, I lose because I look at it and go, should have bet more.
Did you hear about did you know about the one we did yesterday on the show?
The 20 cent?
This guy bet 20 cents?
20 cents turned
He
into
won
$620.
I'm going.
Can you imagine? If he would have bet $10, he would have won 30 grand. This guy.
Yeah. Wow.
Something like that.
I would be angry.
I'm taking his advice.
Right?
I'm taking his advice.
You'd be angry, even though he got $650 of essentially free money.
So mad.
Essentially free money. Anyway, we have another winner today. Go ahead, Mike.
No, Tyvus was our winner today. We're just going to remind the good people that FanDuel is the official sportsbook of the ultimate Cleveland sports show. And summertime means baseball, the NBA Finals, and more. And you can bet all of it right there on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 you can use to bet on everything from the Finals MVP to who's going to hit one out of the ballpark tonight. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and add a big win to your summer bucket list. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Who sat here yesterday?
This
Thing
Bush.
is so loud.
Oh, is it really?
Oh my God! Brain particles are coming out this side of my head.
Speaking of which,
You know how to turn it down, right?
He's deaf.
I just did.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it was.
I have to now, Steve. We have a problem on this earphone. I'll take this seat. I'll take people behind the scenes. See, whoever sits in this seat, Mike can talk to me, and when Jay's here directly, and the other guys don't hear it. When Mike does that, it's when he talks to me privately, it's much louder than when he goes on the air, right? But Steve tried to even it out and fix it. Unfortunately, now it's just loud for both. So I got to turn it all the way down.
That's what happens when you let Steve touch stuff.
That's it.
What I'm saying?
Steve was trying to help it. Anyway, let's get to some sports talk here.
Dial, and I wonder if it's. I don't know. Because it was.
Am I touching it?
I
don't think so.
Crazy loud.
Anyway, Mike, let's get to some baseball talk. Guardians lose yesterday.
Yeah, Guardians lost yesterday. Stephen Vogt, and I want to start here, may have left Tanner Bibee in for one batter too long. That led to the go-ahead home run from the Reds. Bibee has not been able to reach deep enough into games for our liking so far this season. I think, Jason, you said he's only pitched 6+ innings 4 times in his double-digit starts.
14 starts.
14 starts. But I'll start with this. Stephen Vogt's been incredible this season. For a rookie manager, he's the front runner for AL Manager of the Year. He's been great, but could you put last night's loss on Vogt for leaving Bibee in for at least one batter too long, Jason?
Sure, yeah, I guess you could say that, but also remember it was, what was it? Was it the Twins game when he went out there and challenged Bibee again to go after Carlos Santana to end the inning, and he got him. And I mean, yes, you could say it's on Vogt, but I actually like like Bibee has to lead this rotation with where they're at right now and the condition of he's the guy. And maybe that's unfair to put on a second-year guy, but that's too bad because that's the position they're in. So I actually it's almost showing, and if you lose a game, there's 162 of these things. It's like punting. How many times we talk about the Cavs? Punt a game to send a message. Well, this kind of felt like that to me of telling Bibee, you're our guy, man. You got to get through this inning. And across baseball, I looked it up, like pitchers aren't getting out of the sixth on average. They're only going like 5 1/3 innings on average this year. But he has to be better than average. He has to be better than 5 1/3 innings. He's got to get you through at least 6 innings. And he's only done that in 4 of his 14 starts. And yeah, obviously he's a strikeout pitcher, and strikeouts can pile up pitches. But he just has to find a way to be more economical with some of his pitches. He's got to get deeper into games. They need him too much. You got to at least get through 6. I mean, it wasn't long ago you needed your ace to get through 7. But I'll take 6. Just get him through 6 innings at this point. And to be coming out in the 5th inning time after time is just a little bit frustrating. So I didn't mind Vogt leaving him in there as almost like another challenge of, hey, you're our guy. You got to get us through this. And unfortunately, last night it didn't happen.
Tyvis?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually in the same camp that you was in because the funny thing is I was sitting there watching it, and I was like, man, why is he still in the 6th? And at that time, I think it was 2 people on base. I'm like, why is he's clearly doesn't have it anymore. But then I started thinking to myself, how you just thought, like at some point they got to get him revved up to be able to go 6 innings, because I thought about in the playoffs, sometimes you want your pitcher to be 6 innings deep. Now, don't get me wrong, the Guardians bullpen has been unbelievable this season, and that's probably where they'll go. But how do you know if this guy can do 6 innings if you never give him that opportunity? So I think that essentially we're going to find out. We're going to punt. If we punt a game, we punt a game. I mean, we're in great condition right now. We're top 3 in the AL, so we're good if we miss this game. And I think that's what they did. And he's not there yet. Now, I'm with you. He's got to get there, or they're going to have to trade for some pitching, because once that playoff come around, they're going to need him to go at least 6 innings.
He was right around 100 pitches, which, again, if you're around 100 pitches, and this is sort of where we're at with baseball, teams are running up pitch counts on guys. They're trying to knock the starter out early. This has been a thing for a few years now. But and with all the arm injuries that we've seen with pitchers, obviously you want to protect these guys. And it seems to me like they're pulling pitchers earlier than they did before. Rarely are they even getting to that 100-pitch mark with starters, it feels like, to me at least. He's just got to get deeper into games.
Yeah, what you guys said, I'm right with you. In fact, everything Jason said was exactly what I was going to say to the T. Pretty strange. It's 100% right. I mean, yeah, I guess letter of the law, you could blame Stephen Vogt. He probably, but he's trying to.
If it was a must-win game,
right?
He would have pulled him out.
It's not a must-win game, okay? I'll reiterate what you guys have said. They need him to go deeper. This game was very similar to last Thursday against Kansas City when we were at the game. The Guardians had a lead. I know in this case it was only 2-1. I think they were up 3-0 maybe in the game. Bibee looked great early. Yeah. Looked like he was going to cruise to at least 6, if not 7. Yeah. And then in the 4th, 5th inning, it seems to happen every game, he stalls out in terms of he goes too deep into counts. Now, again, when you're a strikeout pitcher, there's going to be some deep counts. Guys will foul it off. I think something I don't know. I don't know this for sure, but something I think is happening with Tanner Bibee is he gets really caught. He loves striking guys out. Pitchers love to strike guys out. I get it.
Yes.
But I think sometimes when he gets deeper into the games, he tries to be too perfect with his pitches. And he doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to be perfect. He needs to trust his fielders because he's got a great defense behind him. Yeah. He doesn't have to be that fine. He doesn't have to, I think sometimes he tries to be too fine at the end of games. He's a very talented pitcher. The 87 strikeouts is really impressive. But he's getting gassed late in these games because he's not being efficient enough. And they do need him to pitch 6 innings. And you're right, 5 1/3 is the average now, which you would have told me that as a kid, I would have said that was crazy. Yeah. But that's what it is. But every team's got to have 1 or 2 guys that can go at least 6, if not 7 innings. The Guardians don't have anybody.
Right.
And the best chance is Tanner Bibee. Yeah. So and to be fair to him, it's not fair to him because he's in his second year.
Exactly right.
He's pitched essentially a year now in the big leagues. So it's not fair. But there's a lot on his shoulders right now because he is their best pitcher. And so they need him to eat more innings because the more games that they keep getting knocked out in the fifth, the more the more pressure you're putting on the bullpen, the more you're taxing the bullpen, and that will catch up with them eventually. It's not if, it's will. It's going to, maybe not every guy, but it's going to catch up with them. And so he's got to find a way to be able to go deeper, and that's why Vogt stuck with him, to try to get him used to doing that. Because sometimes you can make a pitch. And by the way, before he gave up the home run to Candelario, who had a great game yesterday, he just struck out Ellie De La Cruz, who I know strikes out a decent amount, but he's still a great player. Right. So it wasn't like he was totally gassed. I mean, he just struck out a really good player.
Some of the guys in this rotation, you can only get 5 out of them because you don't want the lineup to see them a third time.
It was like the old Josh Tomlin thing.
Yes. Yeah. So, if you can get him through the order twice, that's probably enough, because if you let them see him a third time, he's got to go. So some of these guys, I understand you got to get them out after 5. Tanner Bibee can't be that guy. Bibee stuff is too good. He can see a hitter 3 times and get him out 3 times.
Yes.
He's got to get deeper into games.
So to pivot off of just Tanner, to ask about Gavin Williams.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't know exactly when he comes back, but do you think that it's enough games left that he'll get enough appearances that if playoff time comes around, he could be a guy that could potentially make it to 6 innings?
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's enough time.
There's enough time. But in the playoffs, they do shorten the game.
Right, yeah.
Because it's the playoffs and they are must-win. So a lot of times a starter only goes 4 innings in the playoffs, or 4 1/3. Obviously, the typical ace of the rotation goes a little bit deeper than that, but it's not uncommon to get pitchers out after 4 or 5 innings in the playoffs. So that's not as much of a concern there. It's getting to October. You can't cook these guys between now and October.
I wonder if this has nothing to do with Tanner Bibee, because you wouldn't do it with him. But I wonder if, and it seems counterintuitive because I'm saying you got to save the bullpen, but I wonder if they'll consider with Carrasco. I wouldn't do it with Lively right now because he's pitched well, but with Carrasco and Allen, and maybe even McKenzie, if they will consider going occasionally with an opener.
They did that with Allen a couple weeks ago.
Right, the game they got. Well, they were going
they were supposed to, and it
got rained out.
That's right. Yeah, I think the Rays were brilliant when they came up with and it's one of those things like, if you're sitting around a bar with your buddies of like crazy ideas in baseball, let's start with the reliever and then bring it. Like, it sounds insane.
That does.
But when you
insane.
see it, it makes
sense.
perfect sense because you don't want, because again, you can get them a little bit deeper because the starter isn't seeing that top of the order the first time through. So it's a really brilliant way to go about doing it. I think. Yeah, I'd have no problem going back to Logan Allen and Carrasco using an opener in front of those guys.
Because in theory, if you can now, let's say Logan Allen's averaging, I don't know, he's averaging 5 innings per game. I don't even know if it's that.
I don't even know if it's that. But
let's say he's averaging 4 2/3.
Yeah.
Well, if by having him skip the 4 best hitters on the team, he can now average 5 1/3, and if you do that with 2 or 3 pitchers, even though you're starting with a reliever in the aggregate, you're going to end up getting less innings on the bullpen, in theory, if it works.
How common is that?
It was very common a couple years ago.
Yeah, there are still teams doing it sometimes.
I've never heard of this.
The Reds did it.
The Reds just did it with Brett Suter against the Guardians the other day. Yeah, the first game or the second game of that series. No, the first game. Lodolo pitched the second game.
That's great.
The Rays started this
the Rays were doing it first,
3, 4, 5 years.
And at first, I was like, well, why are they doing this? And then I realized,
it makes perfect sense.
It's for back-end starters.
So they only do the first 4
well, not necessarily.
Usually the opener pitches 1 or 2 innings.
Yeah, max.
So he can get you through the first 4 or 5 hitters. So now when your starter comes in, when he sees the top 3 hitters in the 3rd or 4th inning, it's his first time seeing them.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
and especially
if all goes according to
that actually makes a lot of sense.
It could especially work. Let's say you play against the Guardians, and this is because the Reds did it with Suter. He's a lefty, right?
Yeah.
Suter's a lefty. Why'd they use a lefty as an opener? Because the Guardians are primarily a left-handed hitting team. So they said, well, the Guardians, most of their top of the lineup, they're good left-handed hitters. Let's use Suter in the first inning when we can target their left-handed hitters, and then we bring in whoever. I can't remember now who they brought in after him.
Well, they used like 6 pitchers.
A
bullpen day?
Yeah, that's true. But then a lot of then if you have a right-handed starter, okay, now he's facing those top of the lineup lefties. only 2 times, and maybe still 2 times, but maybe he goes an extra inning at the other end. So you got to be smart and creative. I don't have a problem with them. I don't think any of us have a problem, obviously, with Bibee being left in the game. He did look until that home run. I mean, he was pretty nasty. What did he finish with? 10 strikeouts, 11?
11 strikeouts.
Ks? I mean, he looks so
His
dominant
stuff
at times.
is so good.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he just gets too cute and wastes too many pitches.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 or 3 pitches an inning adds up.
Oh, yeah. Well, that costs you at least an inning.
Yeah. If you can cut down just 2 pitches an inning, you can probably squeeze an extra inning out of it on the back end.
That's right. And the good thing is, with so many pitching injuries, and, who knows what's happening, Gavin Williams obviously is already hurt. But Gavin Williams, despite the injury, and Tanner Bibee are built like guys that shouldn't be injured a lot.
Right.
Now, you never know when it comes to elbows and stuff like that, but those guys are built like horses. Yeah. I mean, they are thick.
Gavin Williams for sure.
Yeah, I mean, his lower body is...
He's a monster.
I mean, he's got like a Roger Clemens lower body.
Yeah.
Which is what you want. Roger Clemens was never really hurt. Go ahead. Well, he was taking steroids.
I was about to say he was juicing.
Go ahead, Mike.
Before we move on to our Is It Sustainable segment on the Guardians, I just had one question on the Ohio Cup, Reds Guardians, when they play.
Yeah.
Do you guys look at it as a real rivalry?
No, not at all.
I wanted to make sure, because I didn't get the real rivalry vibes. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something.
I feel like the Guardians don't have a real rival. Like, who's their rival?
I think the Twins come the closest, just because over the years.
I guess, but it's not like...
It's not this. I mean, it's not Yankees, Red Sox.
No. It's not Cubs, Cardinals, or Dodgers, Giants.
No.
I mean, it's not. It's in football, the Browns have rivals.
Yeah.
And part of it is the Indians/Guardians have changed leagues. They were in the American League East. I think there was a time. I mean, in the '90s, did you think of the Yankees as a rival for them?
Not really.
Yeah, and once they switched divisions, I don't. I mean, and plus
that was 30 years ago.
The Indians from the mid '50s to the mid '90s were almost always awful. So it was nothing.
Yeah. People around here look at the Yankees as a rival for sure.
I don't think the Yankees look at them as anything.
I'm sure they don't, but I think
I think for it to be a rivalry, both sides have to agree.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just telling you, from a fan's perspective, I feel like fans hate the Yankees, and I feel like that's
that's across the country.
Fans make it like a rival.
The Yankees, like the Cowboys, are the most popular team in football/baseball and the most hated team in football/baseball.
And Steinbrenner had ties to this area.
That's right. Yeah.
When he was here with the shipyards and Lorraine and all that, so there was a little bit of that plays into the Yankees. And I think he wanted to buy the Cleveland at one time. He wanted to buy the team, but. I think the Twins are the closest that we can get to. I don't want.
It's a lukewarm rivalry.
That's pretty rough. If that's the best you can do for a rivalry, that's
right. I mean, I think if they're talking about at some point expanding to 32 teams and changing the divisions around. I think if the Pirates were in the Guardians division, maybe. But the Pirates have been so bad that it's got both teams. Like, that's part of the problem. I don't know. Like in Pittsburgh. The Steelers, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, I think the Steelers fans think of the Ravens, then the Bengals, before they think of the Browns as a rival.
Yeah, I mean, because
now maybe that'll change now that the Browns are better.
Yeah, Browns have been terrible for years.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, is it a rival if it's one-sided?
Well, Ohio State was one-sided against Michigan for a while. No,
but they still consider it a rival.
That's different. You can't compare Ohio State versus the team up north. That's just.
All right, fair enough.
That is.
One thing quick before we get to this next Guardians topic is another Guardians thing real quick because these guys weren't here yesterday. And we were talking about, who's going to make the All-Star team for the Guardians, and I'm curious what you guys think because we agreed that the locks were certainly Jose and Clase. I think Naylor, despite his slump, is a near lock. Because really? I don't think the managers look at chunks of the season. I think they just look at the whole first half. And ultimately, who's been great at first base in the American League? Ryan Mountcastle.
Mountcastle's been really good.
I don't know that anybody else has been that good. And Naylor's top 5 in ribbies.
Is he?
Yeah. I know the batting average has been bad, and
he leads all first basemen in home runs and RBI.
Oh well, he's in there.
I also think Stephen Kwan is close to a lock. He's batting .380.
That's ridiculous.
Now he could go in a massive slump.
That's
if
ridiculous.
he's hitting that,
Yeah,
you
3
can't.
weeks from now,
50 points better than anybody else.
You can't keep him out.
I think the biggest question,
Like Clase, you say Clase?
Yeah, Clase. So I think those, and Jose. I think those 4 guys are going.
Clase, Jose, Naylor,
and Kwan.
and
I think
Dave-
are all
and
definitely
David Fry.
or near definitely. The only question, Ben Lively's not going.
No.
I know he's had a nice season. He's not. No, none of the other setup guys, even though they've been great, none of those guys are going. The only guy to me that's on the fence.
Is Rocchio on?
Rocchio's definitely not going. I cannot believe you predicted that, Jason. That's just terrible.
He hit a home run.
That was my
Don't put that sting on me, Ricky
That was
Bobby.
my prediction. But David Fry is the most interesting one. It would be remarkable. if David
What
Fry
was your prediction again?
that Brian Rocchio was going to make the All-Star team.
It was the All-Star team.
I think. Isn't that what I said?
Yeah, that's what you said.
It was bad. You win some, you lose some. That was a big L. Anyway, there you
He
go.
actually has shown a couple signs of life here at the plate lately.
I know. I still think they need a
little
better
bit.
shortstop.
I do too.
All right, Mikey. Go ahead.
We're going to move on. We're going to play a game called Is It Sustainable after a quick word from Game Time. The NBA Finals are going on, and it could be a sweep, but if you want to see a sweep in person potentially, you can buy the cheapest and most effective place to buy tickets for the NBA Finals is the Game Time app. Game Time makes getting NBA Finals tickets even easier, and the prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. They have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and with their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes all the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets. They have a bunch of different options to make sure you're getting the most customized ticket buying experience possible, including priority last-minute deals, flash deals, zone deals, all-in pricing, views from your seat. They have a lowest price ticket guarantee, and their Game Time ticket coverage makes sure your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the entire ticketing industry. Just take the guesswork out of buying NBA's Finals tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
I don't think the NBA Finals is sustainable much longer because
No, we'll
the
talk about
Mavs are
that.
about to go home. Brian Windhorst just torching Luka Doncic.
Yeah,
I don't know
we'll
if that
talk
was
about that
last
in
night.
overtime.
Was that last night or this morning?
I was on SVP Sports Center.
Oh, we got to
last
show
night.
that to Jason later.
I didn't see it.
Tag board's not working, so we can't show it.
All right.
But we'll talk about it in overtime. Let's play a little game of Is It Sustainable, guys? The Guardians are 66 games into the regular season. And what I did was I looked at their player, took their stats and extrapolated it over a 162-game pace. I'll tell you what they're expected to end up with. You guys tell me with a happy face if you think they can sustain this pace and get close to these numbers or exceed said numbers, and a sad face if you think they will fall short and not be able to sustain
not come
this
close.
pace. Exactly. And we'll start with Stephen Kwan, who you guys alluded to. He's hitting .380. He's been incredible. He has 4 homers, 16 RBIs. In a 162-game pace, Stephen Kwan would be on pace for 251 hits and 16 home runs. Now, he missed some time.
Yeah.
So that takes into consideration. But we're looking at about 215 hits and 13 home runs for Stephen Kwan.
How many hits does he have at the moment?
62.
215 hits. That's 143 in about 100 games, so he'd have to average about 1.5 hits per game. I think he could come close. I think he'll fall short, but come close, so I'm giving the smiley face.
I think it's unsustainable, and I love Stephen Kwan. Like I think he's great, and but
380 is probably unsustainable.
that's where I'm going.
Yeah, you're
like
probably
380 is
right.
nuts.
Are you doing this because they call you a homer?
No.
Okay.
One lunatic called him a homer.
Yeah, I know. That's really funny. But I mean, I mentioned this to the chat. Stephen Kwan. I know it's only his 3rd year.
Yeah.
He's never hit 300.
Which blows my mind.
That's nuts. He hit like 298.
That blows my mind.
297 was his rookie season.
And then like 278 last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to expect a 100-point jump one year and to maintain that for the rest of the year. Now, I think he could hit 350, which is pretty doggone good.
Oh, my God.
But it's not the 380 pace that he's on right now. So for that reason, I have to say it's not sustainable. But I still think he's going to have very, very good numbers at the end of the year. Just not this through the moon type of stuff. That I mean, I joked about if he gets up to 390, we have to start having the 400 conversation, and that's crazy.
If he hits 400, like that's.
No, there's no way.
I never thought I would ever see that day that somebody hits 400.
I don't know that you will. It's crazy.
See, that's the hater in you right there. That you
basically have to get.
I want to see it happen.
I do
so bad.
I'd love to see it
Not
happen.
only is he gonna hit 215 hits and 13 home runs, he gonna bat 400, baby. Let's go.
He's got no chance of hitting 400. I'm probably crazy for saying he could sustain. When I say sustain, I think he'd stay close, right? Like I think he could. And it is crazy. I looked up Luis Arise and like what he hit his first, and he hit 325 as a rookie.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I didn't realize I thought he hit 300 his rookie year.
No.
I knew last year was a little down. It's probably not sustainable. But I'm feeling very optimistic, and I'm such a big fan of Stephen Kwan that I'm going to be a little unrealistic and go with yes.
Fair enough. All right, Jose Ramirez is up next. Through 65 games this season, he's played in 65. He has 18 home runs and 62 RBIs. That is on pace for 45 homers and 155 RBIs. So will Jose come close to those numbers? 45 dingers, 155 ribbies.
I mean, probably.
I'm about to say, as much as I just talked about Quan doing that, it just sounds ridiculous.
I could see the homers more than I could see the ribbies.
How many ribbies did you say?
He has 62 right now. The pace is for 155.
Yeah.
Because of Quan in front of him, I could see him coming closer on the RBIs than the home runs.
Yeah. The thing I worry about is he always seems to get a nagging injury in the second half of the year.
His numbers in the first half, it feels like, I don't have the proof.
Yeah.
It feels like his numbers in the first half are always better than the second half.
If you guaranteed me he was going to be 100% healthy for the whole season, I would say yes.
Really?
Then I think he could, because he's that good a player.
I still don't think he's getting near 45 home runs.
That's the part. The home run part is the one.
What's the most? He's had high 30s, hasn't he?
But you see, even still,
I believe 37 is his career high. I'll double check.
37.
He not
eight's quite a bit more than 37.
I hear you, but it's a launching pad to right field right now.
No, lied. 39 in 2018. He had 39.
39?
2018, 6 years ago.
45 home runs.
No, I'm going to say, again.
I could see the ribbies, though. I could see the ribbies.
Just because we're saying the pace is not sustainable doesn't mean he's going to fall off a cliff. He's still going to have a really good year. It's just these are astronomical numbers to try and reach for the rest of the year.
Well, he did say he was better than Barry, so.
Well, he did say that.
Let me.
Maybe.
I'm going to look at this real quick. Here's. I think I want to see if I can find his first half.
A couple of years ago, he was on pace for 170 RBIs, wasn't he? Remember that? It was just a couple of years ago, and then he just sort of faded.
All right, here's Jose first half versus second half. First half of the season versus second half of the season. Now, keep in mind, he has
almost 80 more games.
Almost 80 more game about
which kind of goes to the point that we're
about 350 more plate appearances in the first half. First half, 110 homers, 380 ribbies. Second half, 89 and 320. So the numbers aren't. If you consider it's about even.
Yeah.
Now this doesn't matter the games. His batting average actually better in the first half, 282 on base.
No, better in the second.
I'm sorry, second half. Better in the second half, on base 354. Slugging slightly better first half, 495. OPS basically even, 848 in the first half, 847.
Doesn't it feel like
there's really been no difference. He's just played less games.
It feels like he's faded in second halves before.
Let's see. Stolen bases, 96 and 96.
It sounds like you talking yourself into it.
Jason, to your point,
yeah.
I have the month-by-month breakdown. June, July, he's a 290 hitter. August for his career is a 260 hitter. Then he bounces back in September to 296.
Okay.
So maybe it's August is the slow month, but June and July.
And he has had some hand injuries, wrist injuries.
A couple of years that have affected
sapped him of some production.
Yeah.
Are you switching?
No. I'm still saying.
No, but I don't think he's going to be crazy far off, but enough far off that I'd have to say no.
It's the 45 home runs.
That's a lot.
That's.
Go ahead.
Next up is Josh Naylor, who's played 63 games this season. In 63 games, despite the slump, has 17 homers, 50 RBIs. That puts him on pace for a 44 home run, 129 ribbies. 44, 129. Sustainable or not?
Oh, this is hard. This is hard because I want to say yes.
I want to say yes too, but
I gotta say no.
It's not gonna happen. But I would love.
There's part of me saying
to be wrong.
He's been through his worst month.
That's what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, on the page.
I was
Screw
thinking
y'all.
the
I'm
same
saying
thing, but I just
I just talked myself into it with that comment.
Yeah, because that's exactly what I was thinking. Like even when he was really slumping, he was still incredibly productive.
Right. I mean, he's had 20 ribbies in his last 32 games.
The 40
despite hitting 150.
He does have some power. I don't know if he can get to 44 again. It's the home runs that.
That's why I keep doing.
Remember, Jose and Naylor combined for 41 home runs last year.
Now
they might hit 80 between them.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I bet you they'll come close to it.
If they
shut up, shut up! I don't want to hear it out of you. I don't want to hear it out of you.
Oh boy!
I was definitely going there.
I know you were.
All right, Jack,
it ain't happening. It ain't
That's
happening.
right.
You had to bring up the home runs.
I would love for it to be. Even me predicted that I should say yes, but I don't see it.
I'd say yes.
Next up is Andres Jimenez, who's played in 61 games this season. He has 4 homers, 34 RBIs. He has 63 hits. He's on pace for 167 hits and 11 home runs.
He better exceed that.
I'm about to say. With that money he gets,
by the way,
and I'm still waiting on it.
Let's just say this. When Andres Jimenez had his all-star season in 2022, we anointed that the Guardians ripped off the Mets in that trade. Now, Francisco Lindor is obviously having a bad season, and the Guardians did well in that deal. But we have to start dealing with the possibility that season may have been a bit of an anomaly.
Yeah, this may be who he is.
Yeah.
And it's still a very good player.
It's below average offensively. Now, he makes up for great
defensively. He is.
But since the start of last season, he's a below average offensive player.
Yeah, I mean, 670 OPS is not good.
No.
That's not good.
I think average is 710, 720, something like that. Yeah. I mean,
but we all are saying that he's going to.
I mean, you got to believe he's going to be better than this. He's been, again, he plays great defense, and it's not a Miles Straw, Austin Hedges situation where he can't hit it all.
Right.
He's an okay hitter, but we've been expecting more from him, and he hasn't done it so far the last 2 years.
That's fair.
Offensively.
Next up is David Fry, who's played in 48 games this season, and in those 48 games, he has 8 homers, 30 RBIs, an incredible OPS. If you spread that out on a 162-game pace, he's on pace for 27 homers and 101 ribbies.
How can
we come close to that?
I mean, it's.
How can we say that's sustainable? I think I saw where he was like 3rd in baseball in OPS plus.
Yeah.
Like he's putting up like Judge-like numbers.
Yeah.
He's only behind Judge right now in OPS. Just regular OPS. Yeah. He only trails Aaron.
How can we say that is sustainable?
Easily. Watch. I'm about to do it.
If he sustains it, he's going to be in the MVP conversation.
Yes.
I mean, just think about that for a second. I don't think
he is who we thought Jimenez was.
Yeah,
that's who he. That's
he's been better than we thought Jimenez was. By the way, I don't think he's going to completely go off the cliff, but I just don't see how he can play this well the rest of the year.
You two are haters. We need a good Cinderella story.
Trust me.
This right here is motivating. He's motivating the youth with what he's doing right now.
I love David.
He's a hero. He's my MVP.
I saw.
He might lead the team in home run. That's where I'm with. That's where I'm at with it.
I saw a side by side of him from his stance and swing from a couple years ago till now, and I'm trying to remember. I think his hands are higher now. His stride is a little bit different, and boy, like just those couple little tweaks.
Yeah, you never know.
Massive difference.
You want to hear something crazy about David Fry? My buddy who I worked with in Texas went to high school and played high school baseball with David Fry, Grapevine High School. He had never played catcher till he got to the Brewers minor league system.
Wow.
Never caught. And they turned him into a catcher, and obviously now he's a utility guy. He played third and short in high school. He went to Northwestern State, which is not a powerhouse baseball program whatsoever. It's a little school in the backwoods of Texas.
Yeah.
Louisiana, excuse me. and he gets drafted, goes to the Brewers, becomes a catcher, and now is one of the most productive offensive players on a per at bat.
It's a great story.
It is a great story. I mean, the guy's
Keep
completely.
it up.
And he was in the minors for a long time.
Yeah.
Now he got to finish his breakfast, and he got to go ahead and take down Aaron Judge for MVP this season. And I'm buying the jersey.
How old is he? 27?
Is he 28?
28.
Give me a second. I'll pull it up.
I thought he was 27, but maybe
I can't believe y'all really gonna put the sad face to this.
I mean, how can
I didn't
you,
want to.
How can you
He
not?
is 28. He
How
turns
can you go
29
against the guy?
in November.
He turns 29 in November.
Wow. Well, I mean, you could still get 3-4 good years out of that.
Yeah. Been pretty impressive.
I can't believe you're scolding me for saying he can't keep
Y'all
Aaron Judge.
y'all going against greatness right
Now
now.
they signed David Fry to the Miles Straw contract.
This is 2 times in this segment that you have done this. Stephen Kwan can't get 400 and David Fry can't win MVP. Are you insane?
By the way,
So.
somebody sent me last week that Miles Straw had finally gotten hot at AAA.
Really?
He's hitting 233, right?
Oh my God, is he now?
No. I'm literally making a joke. Like, his hot for him is 230.
No, like he had a good week. Let's see what he's doing at AAA. You ready? Here we go. Miles Straw at AAA Columbus is batting. He's up to 245 with an OPS of 649. 649.
Cooking.
A longtime major leaguer with a 649 OPS in the minors.
How long's that contract run?
I think he's got 3 more years. I remember at the time saying it was a terrible contract, and people were like, it's not that much money. It's not, but for the Guardians it is.
Well, both center fielders is next up on our list of is it sustainable. It was Miles Straw's replacement, Tyler Freeman, who in 60 games this season has 6 homers, 27 RBIs. That puts him on pace for 16 home runs and 73 ribbies this season. Is that a sustainable pace for Tyler Freeman?
By the way, two more years of guaranteed money and then team options, which obviously.
I wonder if they'll pick those up.
Yeah. Tyler Freeman, what is it?
16 and 73.
Ever since,
Yes.
I'm going to tell you right now, the best thing that happened to Tyler Freeman was when Stephen Kwan went down. For some odd reason, that man started cooking, and he ain't looked back since. And since I've said that Jose and Josh is going to slow down at home runs, they got to make up for it somewhere because we're going top 10. So that's
Tyler Freeman is going to be the first Guardians outfielder since Michael Brantley to hit 20 home runs.
Wow.
I got him with
prediction,
20.
I like it.
This year?
You reach
Yes.
8, so
Okay.
you
I got him
switch to
20
your bold
exactly.
prediction now, huh?
Trying again.
Yeah, take 2. Take 2.
Hit the first one
Although
in the
David
water.
Fry's playing the off, I think he and Fry are both going to hit 20.
That's going to make Tyvis's prediction come true.
I'm just
Yes.
all us on board. Let's go.
Let's go!
Where you at, Jason?
I really like Tyler Freeman. I've said that from the start. He just looks like a guy who's going to hit 280, 290 every year of his career. I don't know about the counting stats, if he'll get there or not. Those are really lofty numbers, but I just think he's a really good player, and his best baseball is still ahead of him. So give me a yes.
Are you in on the 20 home runs?
That's a lot. But I do think
Where you at? You say he got 6?
he's got 6.
He's on pace for 17 or 16. 16.
I'll take the 16.
I do think his best baseball's in front of him. Like, he's just getting going. I think whether it's center field or second base, I still wonder if they would just slide him back to second and move him.
By the way, he's done a nice job in center field. The metrics are not good for him. But I take metrics on defense with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
They're not perfect.
We talked to Vogt about this in spring training.
Yeah.
About, like, what's your expectation when a guy's changing positions like
Yeah.
this? And it's like, just make the routine plays. Just make the plays you're supposed to make.
Yeah.
And then if you remember, he just started this. Like, he's brand new into this journey. And has he cost you a game? Has Tyler Freeman's defense in center field been a glaring issue at any point? I don't
not
think
at all.
I
No.
think he's made all the routine
I think he's
plays.
done a nice job.
He's made a couple of really nice plays. He's only going to get better the longer he's out there. He's a good athlete. But again, if you can find someone who's better for center field and slide him back into the infield, I wouldn't be sad about that either. Regardless, I think Tyler Freeman's going to be in this lineup for a long, long time.
I think the Guardians right now, we've been talking about targeting a shortstop. The other option is targeting a center fielder.
Yeah.
Moving Freeman to second, moving Jimenez to short. That's not ideal in season.
Right, no.
But
it feels more like a February move.
yeah. But they're going to need to upgrade offensively. They need a legit hitter at shortstop or center field, one or the other. soon.
Got 3 more.
Yeah.
Next up, Kyle Manzardo. Now, I took a little liberty on this one.
Oh, boy.
Because he doesn't have any home runs, so if you project it out, 0 home runs is 0.
Yeah.
So
I
through
like
the
that
season,
pace.
he's played in 28 games. He has no homers, 7 RBIs. He does have, in those 28 games, 17 hits. So I'm assuming he stays up for the rest of the season. I gave him 98 hits and 5 homers. Sustainable, reachable, or no?
I don't think we can assume he'll be up for the rest of the year.
No, I don't agree with that either.
But I will say that he can, because those are still very.
If he's up for the rest of the season, he will hit more than 5 home runs.
You said 5 home runs and 98 hits?
98 hits.
And how many hits does he have now?
17.
98 total or 98 from now on?
98 total. Well, he reached 98 total. So.
I think I'll say yes. But if he doesn't stay with the team the rest of the year,
They
that
can
won't
easily
happen.
make a trade and send him back to
Right, yes.
AAA. But
Well, if that happens, then
it's going to change. But
I think he gonna hit a home run in the near future.
he should be hitting home runs. I mean, he's had a bunch of doubles.
I think once he sees that ball fly over that fence, I think
that's been his scouting report. Is he's right now he's
a doubles hitter.
He's a
yeah.
double. He's a gap hitter. He's not necessarily over the fence. Now he could in time as he gets comfortable. I'm sure he can get to more power, but right now he's more of a doubles guy. Which doubles are great. I like doubles.
Doubles are great.
I think he's 3rd or 4th on the team in doubles since he's been up.
So he hasn't played that much.
Right now.
That's pretty impressive.
He's he's tied for 4th, or technically tied for 3rd, but he's tied with Jimenez and Rocchio with 10 doubles, only behind Freeman and Ramirez. He has more doubles than Josh Naylor this season.
Josh Naylor doesn't have a lot of doubles, huh?
9 doubles for Josh Naylor, 17 home runs.
Huh. By the way, I don't know if you saw this stat. We put it on the show yesterday. Stephen Kwan has more 3-hit games than 0-hit games this year.
That's insane.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Bet he's probably the only other guy in baseball that might have that is Luis Ariz. And I don't even know if he does.
No idea. 2 more.
He's unreal.
Bo Naylor, guys, who's played
start
45 games this season. And in 45 games, Bo Naylor's been a little bit of a disappointment. 3 homers, 12 RBIs. If you extrapolate that out for 162 games, that's an 11 home run, 43 RBI pace. Will he get to 11 and 43?
Yeah,
I say so.
Yeah, I think because the slump is right now. At some point, I'm hoping he breaks out of the slump, and then when he does, he should be good to make that.
You would think he'll go through a 3-4 week stretch where he gets hot and should put up some numbers. That can carry him to that's not a high bar that we're giving.
No. I mean, he's been the biggest from an offensive standpoint. He's been by far the biggest disappointment. No, who else has been bigger than him?
Rocchio, but I
expected way more from. Yes, Rocchio, but like the way Naylor played at the end of last season, I had much higher expectations for him than I did Rocchio.
Yeah. Naylor's the biggest disappointment offensively.
He's done a nice job with the pitch framing, but that's it. The rest of his game has not been good.
We got David Fry. We're good.
All right, Mikey.
Last one. Emmanuel Clase.
Well, I thought you were going to say Ben Lively.
It's hard to find a 162 game pace for a pitcher because they don't pitch every game. He's at 20 saves right now through 66 team games. They have almost 100 left. Will he get to 46 saves on the season?
Oh, easy. I think he'll get 50. What's the major league record? Is it Bobby Thigpen?
I think Thigpen had like 57 or 60.
Something, yeah.
So 50. Let's do 50. We'll get to 50
Yeah,
saves.
he'll get to 50.
Dang. Boy, I'm not as confident.
Yeah, I feel good about it.
What do you have last year?
I hope he don't need to.
How many did you have last year?
I don't know.
Clase last year, I'll pull it up right here.
He was in the 40s.
Yeah, I thought he had close to 50.
I thought he had like 43 or something like that. 46.
Emmanuel Clase last season had 44 saves. And 42 the year before.
What's the pace that you're saying? Not 50, would you say?
I said 48.
By the way, Bobby Thigpen does not have the record. K-Rod broke it in 2008. He had 62 saves.
Jeez. He ain't getting that.
And Bobby Thigpen is tied with Edwin Diaz, who I think was for the Mariners at the time.
He needs 20.
With 57 in second place.
He got 20 saves right now. You said you say on pace for 46?
48.
48.
How can he be on pace for 48? We're not even at the halfway point of the season. He's got to be on pace. Oh, no, you're right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say yes.
I'll say yes,
They won the
too,
World
because,
Series,
I mean, we ain't even at the halfway.
I think so.
part.
Was it 2008?
At
No,
20, why
2008.
Oh, 8.
There have been
rolling everybody and they don't need them.
There have been 17 players that have gotten 50 or more. Well, there have been 17 times where some guys have done it more than once. But there's been 17 occasions where a pitcher has gotten 50 or more saves. 17.
Rivera do it? I don't remember.
Rivera did it twice.
Did he?
He had 15 in 2000, 50 in 2001, and he had 53 in 2004.
All right, give me 48 for a Class A.
I'm on for it. Yep, 48.
I mean, he
said 40. He had 44 last year.
He had 44 last year.
44
win
last
a lot more
year,
games
correct.
this year than they won last year.
By the way, the most random dude that's had 50 saves, Jim Johnson. Do you even remember him?
Yes.
Of course. How could you forget?
Baltimore.
Big JJ.
He did it twice.
I don't remember too. I don't remember him doing it all, but I remember him as a pitcher.
Yeah. What's the most did Class A set the Indians record?
I can look it up.
Mesa, I think in '95 had a ton.
Let me see.
Class A may have broke that though. I think Mesa was in the 40s.
Mesa had 46 in '95.
Yeah.
So that's the record.
Yeah,
he
Class A
breaks
is
the record,
44.
though.
It's his career high. So.
And Mesa had 45 in
Well, if
2002.
Class A gets to 48, I think he'll be the all-time saves leader and the single season
So yeah,
Yep.
in team history.
He blew 12 saves last year.
I know, it's crazy.
right.
He was very good last year. He was not as dominant as he was the year before or that he is now.
Craig Kimbrell, Kenley Jansen, and Edwin Diaz are the only active closers that have had more saves in a season than Class A's 44 last year. All right, Mike.
We're going to move on. A quick reminder, if you want any swag, Brown swag, Guardian swag, whatever you want, you better be shopping at Fanatics. There's the link on the bottom of your screen. It's fanatics.com/UCSS. And they have all the best gear available as a little bit of a discounted price. So make sure you guys check that out. Fanatics.com/UCSS for all your Browns, Guardians, Cavs, and Cleveland gear. All right, guys, let's talk a little Browns for a sec here. PFF was going through the list of bounce-back candidates for each team, and they had named Jack Conklin their bounce-back candidate for the Browns entering the 2024 season, which got me thinking.
Yeah.
We have kind of written Jack Conklin off as an afterthought.
Yeah.
DeJuan Jones came in. Jed Wills is at left tackle. We really don't know what to expect from Jack Conklin coming off the injury from last season. So my question for you guys today, and you don't need the happy face or sad face. You can hold it if you want, but you don't need it. Will Jack Conklin ever be a major contributor for the Browns again, or is that ship sailed?
Who's got a worse contract, him or Miles Straw?
Oh, well,
Probably Conklin because the money's more.
right. But with the Browns, you're less worried about how much they spend than the
And
Guardians.
Conklin could give you something before Straw will.
Yes.
That's a good question.
I think there's a chance that Conklin could be a contributor for the Browns.
I do, too.
I think there's
Yes.
no chance Miles Straw can be a
Yes.
contributor for the Guardians.
I think, given the fact that if you look at just the Browns' offensive line, the injuries the past couple of years, it's always somebody that's getting hurt. So I don't know how confident I am that this Browns offensive line, the starting five, will be the starting five by the end of the season. Like
Right.
that,
I mean, how much does that happen, period?
Exactly.
In the NFL, you know?
So I believe that they're going to roll with DeJuan Jones at the starting right tackle. I think if he goes down, or maybe even Jed goes down,
Shrek.
I'm confident that Jack Conklin comes in and no drop off happens. So I think at some point somebody's going to get dinged up and he's going to step in and he's going to be a contributor. That's definitely going to happen.
I agree with. My question is, could he slide to left tackle?
See that? I don't know.
And I don't know either.
Has he ever played
Not
left
in the
tackle?
NFL, I don't think.
Has he ever played left tackle?
Not in the left tackle. I'll look into college, but I know for a fact he was always a right tackle in Tennessee because Taylor Lewan was their left tackle.
That's a hard ass.
First of all, DeJuan, I think, is always going to be an injury concern because he's so
Big
massive.
time.
Yeah.
He's just huge. So that's a concern. Secondly, on the left side, if there's an injury to Jed, can Jack slide over? If Jack can slide over and play,
Well, you gotta-
He played left tackle in college.
You got to think.
But that's a long time ago.
But you got to think, though, right now, coming into OTAs and with training camp, you got to at least have, it's got to be a conversation.
You got to look at him.
Yeah, like somebody need to be a swing tackle.
Yes.
Like one of you three got to be able to be a swing tackle.
And I'm with you. I think DeJuan has to start because you're going to lose him if you don't.
Yeah, he'll probably get up to 500 pounds.
He's the future.
Yeah.
Or at least you think he is.
Yeah.
But if he got lazy tendencies at times, he ain't the starter.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no doubt, guys. Oh, wow.
You look like me.
And you're not even doing anything. You're just sitting still.
Look at that.
All right.
Get a fan in here.
Tyvis is definitely a sweater.
I got deodorant. Clear that right up.
So we all agree that the Jack Conklin deal was stupid. There was no one of the few criticisms we've had of the Browns in recent years.
It was really surprising.
It made no sense whatsoever. That doesn't mean he couldn't still potentially help them, right?
Absolutely.
Jack Conklin, when he's been healthy, and he hasn't been healthy a lot lately, when he's been healthy, he's always been at least an adequate player, and most of the time he's been better than that.
Yeah.
The reason it's a bad contract is because he's had so many health issues. He's older now, and they had other options. Okay, it is what it is. We're not talking about the contract right now. Tyvis is 100% right. Jed Wills has been injury prone. DeJuan Jones, as you said, Jason, at his size, he's going to be injury prone most likely. The odds of those two guys playing 17 games, I'd say, are pretty slim.
Conklin actually could be a weapon, really, if you think about it.
He could be better than a contributor. He could end up being by the end of the year, if you said he's their best tackle, I wouldn't say that's crazy.
I totally agree. It's just a question of if he can slide over to the left side.
Right.
And I don't know if
And can he stay healthy?
Right.
Because he's had so many injuries.
How old is he
is
now?
only 29.
Oh,
he's
29.
a little younger. Maybe he's about to turn 30. I don't. Let's see. Yeah, he's going to turn 30 in August. So,
All right. So
but that's not crazy old
30
for
is
an offensive
young
lineman.
because I'm still young, so 30 is young.
Yeah. Well, and he's an offensive lineman. Offensive linemen can play decently into their even to their mid 30s sometimes. So, yeah, I think he could still be a contributor.
I think we'll see him at some point of this season. That's just a harsh reality. It's just what it is, and he'll be going there. He'll be fine.
And they should work him at left tackle.
Yes.
Because
they better work one of them at left tackle.
What's interesting, guys, now think about this. We've been talking about will the Browns extend Jed Wills, right? And
that's a big
they gave him the 5th-year option, which he's playing on this year. I personally don't think Jed Wills is any good. I think he's below average. You think he's average?
I still think he's average.
I
got mad at him and broke up with him.
But let's say Jack Conklin. First of all, you owe Jack Conklin for next season for the 25.
No,
season.
I thought you could cut him next season.
Could they cut him for the 25 season?
Who?
Conklin.
Can they?
I thought
without a cut, without a hit.
I
thought it was not until after 25.
I thought they
that.
was able to this would be the last year and then they could move on.
So here's his cap situation. If they cut him now.
No, forget now.
Next season, his cap hit's 19.5. The dead money's just under 8.
It's just what?
Just under 8 mil.
I mean, they could.
If they cut him after next year.
After this season. So
after this season,
for 2025, if they were to cut him.
They'd still have a $20 million cap hit if they cut him?
No, it's
8
million in dead money.
Oh, dead cap. Okay.
They could.
So they have control over him for next year.
Yeah.
Let's say, in theory, Jed Wills is not very good. Mm-hmm. And they tried Jack Conklin at left tackle, and he's at least adequate there. Well, potentially, at least in the short term, your answer for 2025 could be Jack Conklin at left tackle and DeJuan Jones at right tackle. You let Jed Wills walk, and during that year, you hope to develop a new left tackle.
Well, you'll probably draft one.
Right. But then you have that one.
Very high.
But then you
next year?
If things go according to plan,
well, but at least they'll
in the 20s.
But they'll still have a first-round pick.
I guess you got a point there.
Right?
Yeah.
But Jack Conklin, you can't have Jed Wills as a one-year stopgap in 25 because he's going to sign a contract with somebody, maybe the Browns. But Jack Conklin could be potentially a one-year stopgap at left tackle for the 25 season if he can be healthy. And by the way, if that happens, then this contract wasn't that bad after all, if that does happen.
I would imagine that they got to be taking some. Somebody's got to be doing some swinging right now to figure out.
Right.
Just in case.
Look at
because
their tackles.
Who's the backup left tackle right now?
Their fourth tackle is Hakeem Adeniji, who they got for the Bengals. He stinks. He's terrible.
No, they got a Fetty, right? Don't they got a Fetty?
Didn't they draft somebody?
They did sign Jermaine Ifedi as well, yes.
What? But he was what round was he?
No, he's a former first-round pick.
He's a first-round pick, yeah.
He's older.
Oh, didn't they draft a tackle? Or no, they just drafted Zinter was the only offensive lineman?
Zinter, the
I
guard.
thought they drafted a tackle late, but obviously I'm
Where
wrong.
did this Hakeem dude
He came from the Bengals.
Oh.
Or he might have been with the Giants last year.
He was a left tackle?
With the Bengals. He's a swing tackle.
If you're relying on Hakeem identity,
he's not very good. I think he actually, if I remember correctly,
we just did it last year.
I
What
think
you
he
talking
might have
about?
started in the Super Bowl because the Bengals had all those injuries on the offensive line. He stinks, though. He's not any good. If the Browns have to play him, he's like like the tackles that they had playing last year. He's like
Jerron Christian, who just signed with the Titans, by the way.
I
Good
think,
for him.
to be honest, of course he did. I mean, Bill Callahan just went there. I think the Browns could put themselves in a heck of a situation. They need Jed Wills to be a guy.
Yeah,
They really do.
they do.
Because
if he is, then they'll sign him to a
exactly. But the thing is, if he isn't,
Yeah.
you can't. Are you gonna move off of your left tackle and Coop? Like that's and you only got one first round pick, and if things go according to plan, it might be 32. Woo!
Yeah. Hey, if the Browns are picking 32, I don't think we care who the left tackle is the following year that much.
Yes, we do. It's about being sustaining.
I hear you, Tyvus, but I think we'd be too busy celebrating.
We will
the
be
Super Bowl.
too busy celebrating.
That it wouldn't be that big a deal. You'd figure it out.
He said, "Woo!"
All right, Mike, what do you got next for us?
I just got
By
one.
the way, who are the other PFF guys for the other teams in the division? Do you have that? I'm curious.
I'll pull it up in a sec. While
Yeah.
I'm pulling that up, I want to ask you guys this, though. If one guy was to slide over to left tackle, and Tyvus, I'll start with you. Are we all on the same page that Conklin would be the more likely guy to slide?
I mean,
than DeJuan, though?
In theory,
Those two options?
you would love for it to be DeJuan.
I totally agree.
You would love for DeJuan to be your premier left tackle because of his size.
Yes. Yeah.
But right now, given the situation, I mean, you looking at OTA clips right now. DeJuan's right now is starting at right tackle. Jed is starting at left tackle. So it's a little too late. Jack Conklin is the guy that's not starting right now, so he's the one that can swing both ways, and he can get those reps at left. He can get those at
Tyvus, but okay.
That was kind.
Children. Surrounded by children.
By the way, sorry, Mr. Maturity.
Don't let it happen again.
But
I got your answers, Bull.
What's that?
I have your answers.
1 second, Mike, because, by the way, plus, DeJuan Jones is still learning his way in the NFL.
Yeah.
Whereas Jack Conklin's a veteran.
You don't really
It'd
want
probably
to.
be
You don't.
easier for him to
DeJuan
move
is
over.
finally figuring it out. You don't really want to touch it.
Right.
Like
I think it's easier for
He's got
Conklin to
enough
make
on
that
his plate
switch,
right
yeah.
now. Just let him have that
Yeah.
right tackle right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right, so for the other
AFC North team.
AFC North teams, bounce back candidates for Pittsburgh was Minkah Fitzpatrick.
That's a good one. He probably will bounce back this year, I would assume.
For the Bengals, it was T. Higgins.
He better because he's trying to get paid by somebody.
I mean, he didn't have a great. It wasn't that he had that bad a year. It was he missed a lot of time. You know what though? He did have a lot of drops last year.
I was about to
That
say
was
he
not an
dropped
issue.
the ball a lot.
He did, and his first 2 years he was never dropping the ball. He tried a lot of drops last year. Okay, that's a good one.
And Baltimore was Mark Andrews, who was hurt last year.
Yeah, that's just about injury.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, okay. Well, Conklin's just about injury too, I guess. All right, good stuff, Mike.
We're going to pivot, talk a little Browns, guys, and a quick reminder, if you want to bet
we
on
just
the
talking
NBA
about the Browns?
Finals. I said Cavs.
No, you did. You said Brown.
You said Brown.
We're going to talk a little Cavs now with a reminder that FanDuel is the official sportsbook of the ultimate Cleveland sports show. Summertime means baseball, the NBA Finals, and more, and you can bet it all on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 you can use to bet on everything from the Finals MVP to who's going to hit one out of the ballpark tonight. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to win big and add that to your summer bucket list. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So, guys, the other day, TheRinger made its top 25 under 25 list, and they took a bunch of different categories into consideration to make this list. And before we tell you guys where Darius, Garland, and Evan Mobley landed on the list, I want to give you the 5 categories they used to make a composite score for each player to then put them in rankings. These are the 5 categories TheRinger used to grade the players and then put them in rankings. Their current play and performance, their potential, their intangibles, the ability to build a team around said player, and then their marketability and charisma.
What does that last one have to do with their performance, though?
Nothing.
Nothing.
All right, that's a weird one. I like the rest.
I didn't make it. I'm just telling you what they did.
Maybe it has to do with trading, like trade.
I guess, yeah. All right.
What is it? What's the word I'm looking for? Trade value.
Okay, fair enough. Go ahead, Mike.
So we'll start with Darius Garland, who came in at number 24 on this list. Now, for each player, they gave you a little bit of the good and a reason for doubt. Now, I'm going to put this on the screen. It's long. I'm just going to read a little snippet of it.
The list was 25, you said?
25 under 25. Okay. So under 25 years old, 25 best players. Darius Garland came in at number 24. You're going to see a graphic with a bunch of words. I'm just going to read a little snippet of it. I'll give you the good. I'll give you the bad. Then we'll look at Mobley, the good and the bad, and then we'll figure out whether or not these guys are properly ranked, if they're being overhyped by the outside national people, and if we're underrated. So this is the Garland on the good side. Part of what I'm going to read, once again, it's on the Ringer, but part of the good for Darius is Garland is a blur. Quote, perhaps the fastest player in the league with the ball in his hands, paired with an ability to grab the handbrake at a moment's notice. He is, when at his best, one of the league's most devastating pull-up shooters, but he might need a change of scenery, devoid of another ball-handling backcourt scorer like Donovan Mitchell, to reclaim the combination of dynamic shooting and distribution that earned him an all-star nod at just age 22. That was the reason for hope. The reason for doubt, Steve, take the very next graphic, is this. Garland was all out of sorts for Cleveland's first multi-series run since LeBron, averaging just 15.7 points on 42% shooting. Honestly, he's been disjointed since returning from a broken jaw injury in early January. Is that because of the lingering effects of the injury or because Mitchell grasped the reins a bit tighter in his absence? He's a 6'1" guard, limited defensive ability, but bottom line, he has potential. That's the good and the bad for Darius Garland. Before we move on to Evan Mobley, fair assessment of Darius Garland?
Yeah,
that's very fair.
Yeah,
sure.
I think the best part was when he talked about the injury part and the fact that he hasn't been the same from the broken jaw. Obviously, we was able to see that this past year, and that was frustrating. But when he's healthy and when he's right, he's a great shooter. He can handle the ball. I think he got caught doing too much this year.
I think something that's left out of there that Jason has pointed to a number of times is his concerns about his maturity. And you think that when a guy gets older, he will mature, but some guys take longer than others.
Yes.
Kyrie took a decade. Like, honestly. But
Kyrie's more talented than Darius.
Kyrie's more talented than Darius. And Kyrie was just a different, immature. Darius, I want to see him grow up a little bit more. I do. I think that's fair. And you go back to the 8-second call against, that can't happen.
Yeah, right.
And it just seems like everything's just funny. Everything's just a big joke. And maybe he does take it more seriously. It's just how he presents. But I'm just telling you, I would like to see him grow up a little bit more.
He sound like me.
I also wouldn't base everything on, like, he had a terrible year. He had a bad year. I won't say terrible. He had a bad year. But that doesn't mean he's a bad player. I do think he's better. Fair. I do think he's better than what he showed last year, which is why I think it is going to be an interesting summer and why I kept saying, like, they don't have to trade him. I know what we reported, and I stand by what we reported 100%, and nothing has happened yet in terms of Donovan signing the contract, so there's no need for action on either side because nothing has happened yet. It's only June. But because his value is, I think, depressed a little bit right now from where it really should be, I wouldn't trade him for pennies on the dollar. If you can't get what you want for him, true. I'd bring him. Again, if you're going to make a trade, I think it's more important to break up the front court than it is the back court. I wouldn't necessarily be in a hurry to break up this back court.
Well, I mean, when Garland is shooting the ball at the high clip, that's what you need, shooting. And he had moments last year where he went insane on the shooting side. So, no, if you're not going to replace him with another, the only upgrade over him would be a shooter with size. Like that's an upgrade.
Who doesn't need to handle the ball.
Right.
And that's the question. The best Darius Garland was pre-Donovan Mitchell.
No, because Jason always says that he actually improved with Donovan.
No, I feel like his best season was without Colin, without Donovan. That 1 year, his All-Star season, when he had the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
The Cavs will tell you they believe they've got the numbers to show that he was every bit as effective the first year together with Donovan. And I do think he had a good year. Like I don't
certainly better than last year.
Certainly better than last
yeah.
year. So that's what I'm saying. If you want to say it doesn't work, well, you can look to last year and say it doesn't work. You can also look to 2 years ago and say, well, it worked okay.
I think that the Darius thing is interesting because I think for him to be the player that he always wanted to be, I don't think he can do it alongside Donovan. Like, I think
but maybe with a new coach with a different philosophy, maybe that can happen.
It's possible, but I think I think that the coaching situation matters a lot because if you come in here and you show me some sets, you show me the offense that we're gonna run, and it doesn't matter who's the ball handler. Right. If the ball is constantly swinging to the open guy, then yeah. But if you come in here and tell me it's similar to what JB did, and we just gonna stand and watch Donovan, then no, I'm not. I don't want to be a part of that.
No, we're all. Go ahead.
It won't be the same as last year. Whatever they do. From a coaching standpoint, it's going to be to fix the offense.
I think a lot of us are down, understandably so, on Darius Garland right now. I've been very down on him. I'm like, trade him.
No, he's still my favorite.
But in reality, the wise move may be to trade him, maybe. But if you get the right coach, and if you make changes in other places, it is entirely possible that the right coach, and we don't know who the right coach is, and I don't know if the Cavs have the right people to hire the right coach. But if they find the right coach and the right system, it's not crazy to think that Darius and Donovan, in some circumstances, could end up bringing out the best of each other.
Yeah.
That is possible.
It for sure is possible. Now, the one thing a new coach can't do, he can't make Darius grow.
No.
And he can't put him in bubble wrap. And
nope.
And he is undersized, and he has had a lot of injuries.
He better hit the weights.
That's probably going to continue.
But Jason,
it's probably going to be a concern throughout his career.
If you find a coach that happens to connect with Darius at a certain level, maybe that helps him mature.
Well, that'll be by sheer luck because they're looking for a coach to connect with Donovan.
Sure. But maybe you find a coach that connects with both. I'm just saying.
Listen,
he's talented enough that it's possible. It's not like he's way better than Colin Sexton or Dion Waiters, these other guys that like could score and
for sure.
You know, like it's possible that they could find the right chemistry with the right coach.
Absolutely.
It's a time in Cleveland right now that we're just getting lucky on new coaches that we hire.
Yeah.
The Browns did it with Kevin.
Right.
The Guardians is doing it with Stephen Vogt. Why can't the Cavs might as well join the line?
And there's another thing that makes it, to your point of, it makes more sense to break up the front court. For obvious reasons, that it doesn't work with the two big men. But another reason is that unlike Darius Garland, Jared Allen's coming off a great season.
Yeah.
So his trade value is probably as high as it's going to be.
It's high as it will be. Yeah.
Go ahead, Michael. You wanted to jump in there.
Well, just quick little plug. I did a breakdown of James Borrego and how his offensive philosophy fits with the Cavs' current personnel on the Ultimate Cavs show last night. If you want to go look at that, it's about 15 minutes long.
Way to make it all about you,
sets. No, I'm just Tyvis said. I wonder how an offense would look with those two. I'm giving you. I did a whole breakdown yesterday.
Another show without me.
We mentioned blowing off Jason now.
We mentioned Darius Garland came in at 24 on the list. I forgot to tell you who was 25 through 21. Jabari Smith of Houston was 25. Garland was 24. Desmond Bane of Memphis was 23. Jalen Green of Houston was 22. Jalen Johnson, a previous number 20 overall pick in the draft, he came in at 21. Going on to where Evan Mobley falls on this list, number 20 is LaMelo Ball, 19 Jaren Jackson Jr., 18 Franz Wagner, 17 Brandon Miller, and then here comes our guy Evan Mobley, tied with Trae Young for 15th.
I actually like Darius more than some of those other guys you mentioned.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I do too. We're going to get to where they all rank in a sec.
I like him higher than 24.
This is 15 through 12, though. Mobley and Young tied for 15th. Cade Cunningham, 14th. Scotty Barnes at 13. Alperen Sengun at number 12. The reason for hope, the good side of Evan Mobley. And Stevie, take the next graphic whenever you want. Mobley has flashed enough offensive potential while playing as Cleveland center with Jared Allen out due to injury to prove he still has room for growth on that end of the court, but the real end is the real draw, is his defense. He's already one of the NBA's best rim protectors and most versatile defenders. He may never win a Defensive Player of the Year now because Victor Wembanyama has taken the league by storm, but Mobley has already won third place DPOY finish under his belt with presumably plenty more to come. The reason for doubt, the downside of Evan Mobley. Mobley's made 23 three-pointers as a rookie, 22 in his second season, and 22 in his third season. He's averaged 15 or 16 points in all three. He might have shown the occasional flashes of potential, sure, but his offense on the whole hasn't improved at all. That doesn't just create an issue for Mobley's ceiling. It presents problems with roster flexibility as well because of the Cavs' challenges of playing Mobley next to another non-shooting big in Jared Allen. All stuff we've talked about before.
Yeah.
Fair or foul on the analysis of Evan Mobley?
Right.
Spot on. Yeah. No, I think it's very fair. And the one reason why I think there's reason for optimism in terms of Evan's growth and development on the offensive side is because Kobe acknowledged it's probably time to start looking more at his development and making that more of a priority. So, like, that's the organization acknowledging, we need to do a better job with him on the offensive end. Yeah. And they haven't to this point. And we've talked about that at length. And I don't necessarily kill them for that part of it because you got to win games. Once you trade for Donovan, it's about winning games at that point. It's not about Evan's development. But I do think that there was a better way to do both. And I think that there were opportunities to try and bring him along while also prioritizing winning. And I didn't see them doing that as often. And hopefully with the change at coach, that's the one instance where I kind of dinged JB on that and thought they could have done a better job of getting Evan more involved in prioritizing his development.
Do the Cavs – so what's the better option for the Cavs? Is it – like the idea all along is we got to make him an outside shooter because like almost everybody's an outside shooter in the NBA. That's a great player these days. So is the answer to we just got to work with this guy, we got to get him better at all costs, or is the answer to not have two big men anymore, to make him your center and just develop more of his interior game, his post play? Because it's not like he's got incredible moves in the post. And maybe he'd just be better off being a post player and not trying to shoot threes because it's not his thing. I don't know.
I think the better.
Mike, you were shaking your head.
Mobley does not have to be the three-point shooter, but then the other big has to be.
Yeah, that's what I was
You could have two bigs, just one has to be a shooter.
Okay, well, that's what I'm
saying.
Allen
and Mobley don't work because neither's a shooter.
I would think.
But you could have, Ty, one sec, you could have Mobley be your 4 if your center can shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be, he doesn't have to be your 5 and get it's just easier to find a shooting 4 than it is to find a shooting 5.
Fine, whatever. I mean, I guess that doesn't matter, but that's what I'm saying. Do they have to, basically my question is he a lost cause if he can't shoot threes?
No.
Right.
What the problem is if they want to keep the core 4, he has to become a shooter because
I'm saying they're better off going to find another big guy who's a shooter rather than trying to force him to try to become a shooter.
Well, I would like that topic. I would like that because if the guy that they get is a shooter, it's not that Evan Mobley can't shoot threes. He can hit them every now and again, which actually spaces things out even more. But that doesn't have to be a big
part of his game.
No, but it would take the weight off of his shoulders to I got to become this great three-point shooter. No, but if I'm out there and I'm wide open, I can still pull it, and everybody be fine with that.
Prior to last season, we talked about this before, when I would poke around as the season was starting, ask a couple other teams, what do you think about Cleveland? Anytime I would talk to other teams, it was always Mobley at center and 4 shooters around him. No one ever talked about Jared Allen. And Allen had a monster year, and he was great. But I'm just saying, when you talk about, the Cavs at their best or the Cavs moving forward or whatever, it's always about Evan Mobley with 4 shooters around him. So to your point, yes, you can put Evan in the middle, and it's not even finding another shooting big because those are really hard to find, the shooting 5. Those are expensive and valuable and everything else. If you can't find that, Evan's your center, and you go find another
smaller team
who's a little bit smaller. And remember, JB loved size. That was JB's thing. JB loved big guys. He loved a lot of size. The new coach may not feel that way. All you do is find another shooter at the 4, and you can play Evan at the 5. So it goes back to what a lot of other teams have felt the Cavs' best when when they deploy is Evan in the middle and 4 shooters around.
I mean, I would if they could turn Jared Allen into that player, right? That trade in a trade, find the player that fits that need, and play Mobley in the paint with the other 4 shooters outside.
Now you do.
I'd be fascinated to see how good he can be in that role.
You still have to go get another center. You have to have another big.
Sure, but as a backup, right?
Well, and as someone who, because there are some really big centers in the league that Evan is really going to struggle with.
Sure.
Everyone wants to cling to the Boston series, and I know why, but Boston was very undersized in that series.
Yes.
If you put Evan against some of the bigger centers in the league, he's going to struggle.
Wait a minute.
So even if you move off of Jarrett, you still have to have another big.
But
go in there
that still goes against what I said anyways. Who are you talking about? What center?
Embiid.
Jokic.
I mean, Drummond.
Drummond is a great example.
Who's stopping them anyway?
No, that's why I like
Drummond's the better example.
Drummond?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, Andre Drummond. They're your three.
Okay, and the funny thing is when we played them with Jared, it was the same thing. They still got Drummond still had 20 rebounds.
Yeah. They push these guys around.
Mitchell Robinson still had a bunch of rebounds. So, like, it ain't going to matter.
Right. They need a center.
You still have to have somebody.
You got to have somebody, but I'm saying if you move off of Jared wasn't stopping them from doing that anyway.
But somebody else could. Like, Andre Drummond is not the player that he was 10 years ago. He should not be eating you alive for 20 rebounds in a game.
He did it
to these guys.
Right.
Like, the other teams figured out, like, you can push the Cavs around. They have big guys, but you can push them around inside if you have the right physical play.
So you need a center who's basically a backup who, against those other big centers, who can play more often.
Yes.
Who can play important minutes.
Right.
Which is
maybe he's a guy who plays 12 minutes a night on a lot of nights, but when you're playing against the top centers, he plays 20 minutes that night.
I got a question for you guys. So we ran through the list. I'll give you 10 through 1 real quick just to finalize it. But Morant, Zion, Paolo, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Tyrese Maxey, Tyrese Halliburton, Luka, SGA, Anthony Edwards, and Wemby's the top 10. So we've ran through the whole list.
Yeah.
Are the Cavs appropriately placed? Are they being overvalued, undervalued? How do you think the Ringer did in ranking their top 25 players in our 25? DG was 24 and Mobley was 15.
I think Evans should be higher.
Mobley's probably in the right spot.
I think Darius should be. I'm sorry,
like,
I meant Darius.
what?
Yeah, I think Darius should be higher.
They got a graphic with all that.
I think Evans probably about where he should be.
If anything, Evans should be a little lower, maybe.
No, I like him where he's at. I like him where he's at.
All right.
Him tied with Trae.
So they got two.
All right.
I think Darius could easily be
at
19th
at his peak
on that list.
He was 17th last year when they did this.
Yeah. Okay.
What was Mobley?
I'll have to go back and look. I just made that note from last time.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think
maybe he wasn't on there.
I think Darius could easily be in the top 20.
You like him over Desmond Bain?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
I'm just asking. Who was 22 and 21?
On this list this year?
Yeah.
LaMelo's 20, Jalen Johnson 21, and Jalen Green 22.
Jalen Green's good. I like him over Jalen Johnson, though. He could be lower.
I'm not a big LaMelo guy, but that's just me. I'm not a big LaMelo fan.
I believe in a healthy at his peak. I think Darius could be better than LaMelo. The only thing LaMelo got over is the passing. Like, his passing is really good.
There's a couple other names on that list I thought he could be higher than.
Jaren Jackson, Franz Wagner, Brandon Miller.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Brandon Miller was balling like that this year, huh?
He had a great rookie season.
Really?
It's hard. Yeah. Like how do you compare Wagner and Darius? They're two completely different positions. Completely different
responsibilities. Like comparing an offensive lineman and a running back.
Yeah, it depends on your team needs and everything else. Yeah. But like I would take. Maybe I'm in the minority.
Take DG over Wagner.
Yeah. But again, like Wagner? I'm sort of throwing out last year a little bit.
That's what you would have to do. If you just say you take them 2 years, if you take Franz this year and DG's All-Star year,
I'd take Darius.
I would take Darius.
Well, all right. Wagner had this was his worst season this year, ironically.
Really?
Both coming off bad seasons.
Well, he looked good against the Cavs.
All right, Mike. What are we going to now?
We're going to stick with Cavs for one last topic here, guys. But quick reminder that if you want to see the Ultimate Cavs Show, it's on our YouTube page. You can check out the Ultimate Guardian Show. Earl may or may not do an Ultimate 216 show this week. He's not here for me to ask. Usually I look to my right and ask him, but he is not here to ask. G. Bush is back with another Ultimate Brown Show on Friday. It's all on our YouTube page. As always, make sure you click the like button, hit the subscribe button so those videos come to you as they go live.
By the way, I forgot to mention this before. I got to find it again. I was randomly looking at a YouTube video. I was on YouTube for a minute, and it said, former NBA stars talk about Larry Bird being the best trash talker. And I always find Larry Bird videos interesting. So I clicked on it, and it was a montage of clips where former NBA players are talking about Larry Bird being a trash talker. And the first clip on this video was me asking, and I can't remember now who it was. I don't know if it was John I can't remember who we had on, some former NBA player. And it's me asking him who was the biggest trash talker when you played, and he said Larry Bird. And this video got like 500,000 views. And the first clip in the thing is our show.
When I said this next topic out, I'll go look and see if I can find it.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just surprised by that. And it was like only a 5-second clip.
And then we have a little game we're going to wrap up with. But
okay.
Yesterday, if you guys don't know, I like TheRinger. I think they do a really good job.
You're obsessed with TheRinger.
I'm not obsessed. I just think they do a good job, and they have different
not a Bill Simmons
for
fan.
Everything. Well, Simmons isn't in any of this stuff. This is Kevin O'Connor, who was on the NBA
Kevin
Draft
O'Connor's good.
Ringer show, and he was talking about draft rumors he had heard just from discussions with scouts across the league, and he mentioned he had heard the Cavs may potentially be looking to trade into the draft lottery. The NBA draft's now in 13 days. It's 2 weeks from yesterday, 13 days from today. The Cavs have the 20th pick in the draft. Jason, have you heard anything about the Cavs trying to trade up? And then B, do you think it makes sense and is logical for the Cavs to attempt to get into the lottery? And do they have the assets to even make a move from 20 into the lottery? It's a weird draft.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really know what you're getting, but would you be a fan of the Cavs trying to make a move like that?
I have spent zero time on the draft. I'm not going to be a phony, as Bull would say. And maybe that's bad of me. Maybe I
No, it's not bad at all.
I've spent zero time.
I think people respect authenticity.
Yes.
So I don't know if they have
Yeah.
or not, but it makes sense from the point of this is the last pick that they control for the next 5 years. So this is a really important pick.
Yeah.
And they lose their pick next year, and then it's a swap with Utah. Right. So they'll still have a 1, but it'll be the worst of their picking the Utah pick. And so for the next 5 years, they don't control their own draft. So that makes this a really important pick. And there's the Bronny thing that's lingering over this entire draft. And I'm just going to state it for the record.
Yeah.
The Bronny thing is hovering over this entire draft.
Would they have to trade up from 20 to get Bronny?
No.
Only if you want to get ahead of the Lakers. If you think that LA is going to take him at 17.
Where are the Lakers picking?
17.
Okay, that's interesting. When does LeBron have to make his decision by? The first week of July?
Whenever he wants. July.
But around the same time as Donovan, right?
It's around, yeah. Normally LeBron is wrapped up by the first 7 to 10 days of July.
There's no chance. I shouldn't say there's no chance. You think there's any chance that Donovan would not want to play with LeBron?
Do I think that? No, I would say he would. Donovan wants to win.
Yeah.
Donovan's first post.
Donovan's made his money.
Yeah.
He's got his money.
Right.
He wants to win.
Donovan's post when he became a Cleveland Cavaliers was when he took a picture of him wearing a LeBron James jersey and a Cavs jersey. So I would think he would want to play.
Now, I'm not saying the Cavs are moving up in the lottery to take Bronny. That's not what I'm saying.
It's lingering over the
But this is a little bit of an odd draft. There is no clear-cut consensus. There are some good players in this draft, but it sort of feels like the year of the Anthony Bennett draft, where there isn't a clear-cut number one. There's a bunch of guys like this is the type of draft that gets people fired. Because
because somebody's going to go 10 or 12 or 14 and ends up being great.
Yes, and you're going to overdraft guys.
Yeah.
Because it's just a puddle right now.
Right.
So Bronny's getting overdrafted.
Well,
that's what you said.
So there could be guys that they're looking at because again, this is the last draft that they control. So this is an important draft.
By the way, if the Cavs do draft Bronny, then all hell's going to break loose.
Yes, I know.
Oh man, I hope that. I want that to happen so bad.
Yes, I know.
Wait a minute. Wait. Is it how often do teams draft players that don't work out for them?
All the time.
All the time.
Okay.
All the time.
I just wanted to put that out there. You know,
it happens often. But
it's all gonna break loose for sure.
I mean, and again, I don't want to turn this into a Bronny segment.
But that's the biggest story of this draft.
It's worth mentioning that he is lingering over this entire thing.
Isn't he the biggest? Because there's no clear number one pick, isn't Bronny the biggest story of the draft? Because of what it could potentially mean for LeBron?
In a way, yes. This draft is weird because it has no top-end talent that you look at and you're like, he's for sure going to be a there's a bunch of guys that can turn into really good players.
Depends where they end up.
A lot of depth, exactly. Yeah. The situation, the coaching staff, the philosophy, offensive and defensively. You know, there's talent in this draft. There's just not a generational guy like a Wemby.
Why is it this year? Is there a reason? Does this have to do with COVID and all the?
No.
Like, what's happening this year? Just coincidence?
It happens.
You mean to tell me that this man is going to become a first-round pick?
I don't know.
Off of 4 points per game.
Stop bringing up Bronny. Stop bringing up. This is not.
I can't believe
Bronny's the biggest story, Mike.
But Ty,
to answer your question about the. Let me get back on topic. To answer your question, Could the Cavs trade into the lottery? Of course they could. They could package Jared Allen in a pick and move up and get into there. But the thing is, I don't know. We don't know what they're like, who the guy would be. Like, there's nobody that's like that's worth it. That's definitely the missing piece.
Yeah.
That's definitely worth it. And that's what makes this question so hard to if they should or should not do it.
They need a playmaking wing. That's the biggest need on this roster. Now, are you going to find that?
In this draft?
And someone who's going to step in and give you quality minutes on a team that's trying to compete for a championship? That's a big ask.
Mike,
now, there's better odds of moving in the lottery and finding that than from where they're at now.
Mike likes the older guy who wears the shorts that are too short. What's his name?
Tristan Da Silva out of Colorado.
Yeah.
I like Keyshawn George as well. I'm also coming around on the idea that if the wing you don't like, if you stay at 20 and the wings you don't like aren't there, there are a couple stretch bigs in this draft who I think make a little bit of sense. Kyle Filipowski could be in that range. I talked to a few people. I mentioned his name before. Jason, I texted you about it yesterday. Zach Edey's crushing workouts. Yeah. I don't think he'll be there at 20.
I'm
actually convinced he won't be there at 20. I think there's a much, much, much better chance. He goes top 10 than falls to 20, but he is absolutely destroying workouts right now.
So he's an old school center.
But
how tall is he?
7'4".
He's massive.
Yeah,
he can shoot though.
He can shoot. Yeah.
Oh, he can shoot the outside?
He did not shoot at all at Purdue. They did not let him shoot.
Yeah.
They did not let him shoot. He can't shoot.
Well, so he'd be a perfect replacement then potentially for Jared Allen.
Yes.
If he's at 20, I am very intrigued.
They better sprint
because you could play him like you play him on defense against centers, obviously, right? But you still have Mobley inside.
Ty, real quick, he's not like a shooter. He can shoot. You still have spacing issues, but from what I've heard,
but he'd be better than Allen for the.
He can shoot threes. There's another center, Kyle Ware out of Indiana, who has crazy talent. It's the mental side of things that have question marks with him. We see it in every draft. There's red flags. But he's another stretch big who can shoot. That theoretically speaking, if he's there at 20, and the wing you want isn't there, I wouldn't be opposed going that direction. Ty, so what are you saying?
I said if they're trading up in the lottery to get Zach Edey, I'm fine. I'm fine with replacing Jared Allen for Zach Edey. I mean, that's
how high do we think they'd have to trade up to get him?
I'm pretty convinced he's going lottery. Jason, have you heard similar things on Edey?
He's
done nothing on the draft.
Zero on the draft. I'll dig in on it in the next week or so, and I'll have a better answer for you. But I'm not going to lie and act like I've done nothing.
At 7'4", he'd be a lot to deal with there.
Yeah. I liked him at Purdue.
Yeah.
He's just massive. He takes up a ton of space.
I hated him at Purdue.
If this were 1984 or 1994, he'd be the first pick in the draft.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's not.
And because this is such an awkward draft, teams are going to fall in love with guys.
Could he go one? Could he still go one? Mike, is that possible? Is it possible he goes one?
No, because Klingon, he won't go above Klingon.
I never even heard of Klingon.
He was a center at UConn.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. He's going first?
I think if I had to put my money on it today, Donovan Klingon would be the first pick. Now, if San Antonio trades up to 1, they like the wing out of France, Rishayer, I can't pronounce his name. But if Atlanta stays at 1, I think Klingon's the pick.
Okay.
I was going to say something I forgot now.
We forgot.
Last point on the lottery, real quick. Jason, what do you think in a wonky draft like this where there is no consensus whatsoever it would take to get into the lottery?
Yeah.
Because Tyler said Allen and 20, that's way too much to pay to get into the lottery.
No, I'm not doing that.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
So what do you think it takes to get into the lottery?
To get into the lottery? I mean, you have no other picks to trade.
That's why I think it's a weird situation. I'm not
Dean
quite
Wade
sure what
in
that
the
looks
20th
like.
pick?
It depends how high up you're trying to go. Are you trying to go to 3 or are you trying to go to 12?
11,
That's a massive difference.
Yeah, well, I don't think you need to go to 3 to get to Zach Edey, do you?
I'm not saying if you trade up.
I'm saying it. I have
if
no
you trade
idea.
up, I feel like you're getting a wing. I feel like you're trading up
Gotcha.
to get the wing you want. You more stick at 20 if you're willing to let a big fall to you. I just don't know what the
How high
package
could you get with Dean Wade and the 20th pick?
I have no idea. Depends the team, I guess.
It depends on the team. And that's a cop-out answer, but it's really not because it's Dean Wade's a good player. Like, he's a good player.
Right.
He's had injuries the last 2 postseasons, and that's unfortunate because I really like Dean, and he's on a team-friendly contract.
You got to give up something to get something.
You got to give up something to get something.
Yeah.
You can't really do Okoro. He's restricted. I guess you could. I guess you could do Okoro. He's a restricted free agent.
But is a team going to move down in the draft and give up a rookie contract for whatever Okoro's going to sign?
Right.
Like there's a lot of moving pieces, and that's why I was asking Jason. I don't know what that deal looks like.
All right. Let's move on to this game that we're playing. We don't even know anything about it.
Nope. And before we do the game, I got to do one more game time read. If you're looking to get tickets to any event, whether it's the NBA Finals, a Guardians game, or a concert in Cleveland, there is no better or easier place to get tickets online than the Game Time app. And the prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch or tip-off or the opening song of the show. Game Time makes buying tickets online so easy that my dad could use it, and if my dad could figure out the technology, then so can you. They have all the best customizable spots for your ticket buying experience. Sorry, I completely lost my place there. They have priority last-minute deals, flash deals, zone deals, all-in pricing. You get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. Their lowest price guarantee gives you 110% of the credit if you find a lower ticket price online, but the spoiler alert, you're not going to. Plus, the ticket Game Time coverage, make sure your ticket is purchased, is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the entire ticketing industry. So take all the guesswork out of buying NBA Finals tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
By the way, The Boys season 4 for those who
this the last one.
No, season 5's the last.
Oh, season 5's the last.
You watch it?
I watched season 1. I haven't watched it since. I got a lot.
Great show.
I got a lot
Great
of catching
show.
up to
Great
do.
show.
Today. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, so today's game, I've been saving this for Bull and Jason, the day you guys are on.
Oh, boy.
It is true or false, and you want to pass out the whiteboards, Tavis.
I do got them done.
But it is true or false on crazy baseball stats.
Oh.
I'm going to give you a baseball stat, and you tell me if it's real or if it's fake. So true or false, but on crazy Major League Baseball historical stats.
Okay.
And Bull, I know you have spreadsheets for all of this, and Jason, I know you're a baseball junkie. Full disclosure, I did text Tavis last night and told him it's some sort of crazy baseball thing.
Yeah.
I did not tell him what it was. I just said it's somehow crazy baseball related to give him a little bit of a leg up because he's not the diehard baseball junkie you guys are. So full disclosure, that
I don't
did
think
happen.
you really gave him a heads up by saying it's crazy baseball.
I just wanted to give him the realm of what it is because I gave you guys absolutely no idea
All right.
what it was. So I'm going to give you a stat, and you guys tell me is this a real stat, fake stat, but true or false. You ready? Steve,
Ready.
let's take the first one. In 2008, CC Sabathia led both the AL and NL in shutouts. True or false?
That was the year, I believe, he was traded to Milwaukee. And he pitched his nuts off for the Brewers. So I will say true.
True, true, and true. That's 3 trues, and we are starting off on the right note. 3 trues.
Yeah, I think he pitched every inning for the Brewers in the last month of the season. That was crazy.
Yeah. They got their money's worth.
Oh,
they
my
got their
God.
money's worth out of him.
I still can't believe that happened. That's one of those rare trades where it was a rental that I know it didn't work out because they didn't win the World Series, but
He was
you couldn't have asked for
It
anything
certainly wasn't
better.
his fault.
No. And the Indians got nothing. Oh, they got Brantley. That's it. That's the only thing that
But
worked.
that
for
was a good
trade.
player.
It was a good player.
Yeah.
He was like a throw-in.
Yeah.
And he wound
the
up
key
being
guy
the
was
best
Laporta,
one.
of
Matt
course, who was
Laporta.
nothing,
Good
but
God.
Brantley turned out to be a great player.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for number 2?
Yeah.
Steve? There we go. We got the music now. Question number 2. True or false? Ted Williams never had a 200-hit season.
I don't even know who that is. I don't even know who that is.
Well, wait a minute.
He hit 407, Tavis.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
He was the last player to hit 400.
Yeah.
What year was it that he hit 400? I can't remember.
He hit 407 in 1953,
That's the
and
last
he hit
time.
406 in 1941.
Hold on now, because he said, no. Maybe that's why he did it. Well, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna use some different line. Maybe that's why he did it.
They played less games.
True. You guys are correct.
Thank
true
God
answers.
I switched.
In 1949, he played in 155 games and had 194 hits, the most hits he ever had in his career.
He also was in the war, missed some time, a few seasons.
Just shy. Came close. He had 185, 186, 188, 193, 194, but never.
If they had 162 game seasons.
Barry Bonds, I don't think ever had 200 hits in a season either. I'm pretty sure.
Not.
He had a couple years where he had more injections than home runs.
And walks. He had injections, then walks, then hits.
Yes.
Question number 3. Travis Hafner holds the MLB single-season Grand Slam record with 7 in 2006. All 7 of those came in front of the hometown Cleveland crowd.
It's either all true or all false?
Correct.
I remember this, but I felt like he had some other. I'm gonna say false.
You notice?
What's happening, Mikey? You frozen?
Mike's glitching.
Oh, I know you guys are all done. Sorry.
Do you notice?
We have a true for Bull. We have a false for Jason and a false for Tyvis. I can't see Tyvis. I didn't realize he had finished. The answer is false.
Yes!
Him and Don Mattingly are tied for the single season record with 6, and only 4 of them came at home.
I'm gonna let you know.
Which means Tyvis is currently beating Bull in an MLB baseball trivia.
Don't let me win this.
By the way,
Never hear the end.
Oh my gosh!
I once played in a charity softball game with Travis Hafner. He was so nice, couldn't have been nicer. It was at the park out in Avon. What's the name of that park again?
They changed the name of it. I don't remember. It was like All Pro Freight.
Whatever it's called. It's a nice ballpark.
Yeah.
And I was playing first base, and when he came up to bat, I went out to the short right field.
Yes.
Like, this guy's going to kill me.
As you should.
Yeah. He hit it out of the park, so I didn't have to worry about it. Go ahead, Mike.
Question number 4.
Yeah.
In 2017, Padres pitcher Luis Perdomo hit 109 in the season. He was 5 for 46. But those 5 hits were a double and 4 triples.
Man, I didn't even realize he'd been around that long. He stinks, that guy. It seems so absurd that it's probably got to be true.
False for Tyvis.
That's why.
False for Jason. False for Tyvis. If this
so
is true,
crazy.
if it's true, Tyvis will be in the lead of our baseball trivia. Steve, show him the money. It is true. Tyvis has now surpassed Jason.
It's so wild that I had
there was just enough numbers in there. I thought one of them might be off.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right,
That
next
is
up.
random.
Next up. No player in Major League Baseball history has ever hit exactly 55 home runs in a single season. True or false?
Interesting that you have a picture of Aaron Judge there. These are good questions. I like them. They're very random.
I told you. False for Bull, true for Jason, true for Tyvis. The answer, Steve, it is true.
Wow.
There
Tyvis
have been
kicking ass.
8 players who have hit 54 home runs. There are 3 players. Well, Ken Griffey Jr. did it twice. So 2 players, but Ken Griffey did it twice, that have 56. No players ever hit 55 home runs.
That is
in a
very
single
random.
season.
That's a good one. I like that.
The next one also involves home runs. Hammer and Hank Aaron never hit 50 or more home runs in a single season. True or false?
You know this one?
I do know this one.
Dang.
False for Tyvis.
Tyvis is wrong.
True for the other 2, and Bull is correct. Tyvis is wrong. And we are through 5 questions. Give me the results.
Tyvis and Jason are tied at 5. Bull has 3.
Wait, through how many questions?
3?
There's 10 of these, by the way.
How many have you done so far?
Oh, we did 6. We've done 6.
Okay.
6.
All right.
You only got 3?
I only got 3?
That can't be right.
He's got 4, didn't he?
I thought I had 4.
I think he has 4.
We have how
Look, I'm
many?
on
We're
the delay
tied.
over here
we got
'cause
5.
I'm doing 4 things.
I'm writing it
You might
down.
have 4, Bull. I'll give you
Oh,
4.
I think you are 2 behind. Well, maybe
Am I
you're
2
1.
behind?
You are 2 behind.
Okay,
All
fine.
right, then you're 3.
That's fine. Go ahead.
I didn't know you missed 2. I thought you only missed 1.
I missed 3. You guys missed 1.
Yeah, I missed 1.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
You missed 3. You missed 1. You missed 1.
Yeah.
Correct.
Go ahead.
So you're up 2. All right, next one up. Barry Bonds is Major League Baseball's all-time leader in intentional walks with 688. That part is true. Alex Rodriguez is second on that list with 287. That's the question here. Is Alex Rodriguez second on the all-time intentional walk list?
I have no idea. I feel like y'all know this easily.
But what's your confidence on this one?
I'm actually not sure.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Who pays attention to the intentional walkers?
Right.
Was A-Rod getting walked like that? Like that,
He
it
should
wasn't,
be.
it wasn't like Mark McGuire or nobody. Like,
I'm actually, well, I'm not going to say.
I have no idea.
I said false.
I said false because I didn't think that number looked right, but then when Mike said, is Alex Rodriguez second, he didn't say anything about the number, which then threw me a little bit. But I'm going to say false because I don't think the number's right.
The answer is false. Barry Bonds has 688. Albert Pujols is second all time
That makes sense.
with 316.
Yeah.
It
So-
makes the reason I didn't think I wasn't sure, but the reason I didn't think A-Rod was because he was always on good lineups. That I didn't think there'd be
Hard
that
to
much
pitch around
intentional
him,
walking.
yeah.
Pujols makes sense because he was often.
Yeah, the only guy.
Yeah. Now, some point with the Cardinals, and obviously with the Angels, he had Mike Trout, but not great.
Most
lineup
of his elite years,
with the Cardinals,
he didn't really have that much.
it wasn't a great lineup. around.
Where is he on the list? A-Rod.
Who?
A-Rod.
Tied for 155th with 97.
That's it.
That's why I was like, I should have put fall because I'm sitting there like I
All right.
But isn't
A-Rod
it crazy,
fan. I
real
just
quick?
didn't feel
Bonds
like
has
he-
688,
Yeah.
more than double number 2.
Well, because there was a time with the Giants where they were walking him all the time.
I'm just saying, it's still crazy. when you
Yeah.
see
It is
like that.
crazy.
All right, next up. Prince Fielder has more career inside the park home runs than Ricky Henderson. This your guy, Bull.
Prince Fielder is my guy.
Yeah, vegan. You and him, 2 vegans in a pod.
Man, that seems so impossible.
It does.
Prince Fielder was a fat ass.
I know that's what makes me laugh.
Now he wasn't as big a fat ass as
You know
his
this
dad.
answer, Jason?
His dad's the biggest fat ass in the history of baseball.
How can I
But I
know
loved
the
him.
answer to this? Do you know the answer to this? How am I supposed to know the answer to this?
It's hilarious because you would just immediately think,
False.
yeah, but like, why would he ask this question?
I know.
I put true because I think I recall Fielder having an inside.
I
the
do
park home
too, but
run.
I got to figure Ricky's got at least one.
I
No.
don't remember him. I mean, it's so.
But how would you
rare.
remember Ricky having it inside the
It's
park?
so
home run?
rare.
It
I mean,
is.
maybe in the '70s
What
when
is
I
this?
was
What's
Yeah.
the answer?
in the womb.
Why would he ask this? If it
The
wasn't
answer.
true?
It is true.
Yeah.
Prince Fielder has 2. Ricky Henderson has 1.
I remember Fielder having one.
That's
why I
crazy.
said true. I
That
remember
is a
one.
crazy one.
We have 2
The only
more.
reason I picked false is because the last question earlier that you asked that was so absurd it had to be
True.
that I thought it had to be true. It was true, so I figured this time you would go the opposite on that, and you didn't.
You
2
in,
more.
You in your own head.
Yep.
And Ant score update is Jason still up 1.
Yeah, Jason has 6, Tyvis has 5, Bull has 4.
I got 6.
So you're not out, Bull. You're still in this. Still
Yeah.
got a chance.
Jason got 7 because I got 6. I'll write it down.
Sammy Sosa has hit 60 or more home runs 3 times in his career, but didn't lead the National League in home run in any of those years? True or false?
Oh, this is good.
It's either all true or all false, correct?
All true or false, correct.
Yeah, that's a good one, huh?
I know this one.
You do know it? That's a lot of home run. There's no.
Sam, it's a disgrace how the Cubs have treated Sammy Sosa, by the way. It's disgraceful.
Hold on, wait, because now
Even though he's white now. Have you seen what he looks like lately?
Yeah.
He's got the Michael Jackson thing going.
Yeah,
I don't know what's happening.
He went light skinned and
It's weird.
you know what? I don't know. So I'm gonna just say this because I don't know.
We have a true for Tyvis.
Damn it.
And 3 trues and 3 correct answers. The answer is true.
I knew McGuire and Bonds were always over him, but I wasn't sure if it was 3 times or not.
What's crazy is he did lead the National League in home runs twice.
But not with
In 2000 and 2002, but in 2000 he had 50. In 2002 he had 49. That led the league.
Yeah.
The seasons he had 63, 64, and 66.
Obviously,
he never
McGuire
led the
had
league.
Yeah.
more.
He's the only person ever to have 360 homer seasons, right?
Correct.
I loved Sammy Sosa, and I know he took steroids. I still love him.
You believe,
You're allowed to.
You believe that?
Of course he took steroids. And he corked his bat once towards the end of his career.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Remember his bat busted open and
Okay.
his cork popped out of it?
He may have, but Mark McGuire didn't take no steroids.
Oh,
I don't care what
yes.
nobody
Get outta
say.
here.
Get out of
You
here.
can't get me
Go
to
look at
believe
it. Go look at a picture of Mark McGuire his rookie season, and then you tell me he didn't take steroids.
I'm gonna look at it after this game.
All right, last one, guys. Tyvis, you need to beat Jason
Well, I can't
to
beat
tie
him.
and send it to overtime.
Yeah.
Stan Musial. How do you pronounce it, Bull?
Damn usual.
Musial, I was right. Retired with 3,630 career hits. 1,815 of those hits came at home.
Oh my God.
1,815 of those came on the road. True or false?
If that's true, he's probably the greatest player to be home and away.
Did you? What are those numbers? I can't see.
18,
Each?
Yeah,
18, 15 each?
Yes.
That's wild.
Exactly the same amount at home as he did on the road.
Stan the man.
A Cardinals fan would know this.
Yep.
You know this?
I don't.
I want to win.
I like this game though. It's
I
fun.
want to win, but I don't know. I don't know. Ain't nobody about to look off your paper.
As Bull leans over and looks at Jason.
You was one of them guys in
Oh,
class.
but I've already written my answer.
Bull says true.
But I don't know. I'm guessing.
Wait,
Tyvis has to show us his first before Jason shows us his.
I know what you gonna do, so in order to try to win, I'm gonna say this.
What you got?
Tyvis says false.
Oh, we have a chance.
Jason says true. So if the answer's true, Jason is the first ever winner of our inaugural crazy but true or not stats. If it's
Random
false, we're
baseball
going to
trivia.
overtime. Steve, let's see how it goes.
I knew it was true, but I just had
Take
to go.
the belt, Jason.
I had
Congratulations.
to go false. I had to go false to try to tie because I knew
nice
he was going to
victory.
put true.
Oh, that feels good.
Random baseball trivia goes to Jason.
I
It's a
love
good
true or
job out
false
of you.
games.
The
They're
good thing
awesome.
is the fact that out of all those questions, I think you only knew one.
Two.
You knew
I knew
two.
the Sosa and I knew the Hank Aaron.
How many did you know?
I had a good guess on a couple, but like no, I would say none.
See, that makes this. See, that gave me a legit chance.
I only knew two for sure.
I try
I mean,
to
those
make
are
those.
pretty random.
I gotta
Most
look-
of them
Yeah, I
were
mean, they were
very random.
obscure and random.
I got to
for
look
sure.
up Mark McGuire.
Oh, that's not true. I actually knew three because I knew the Sabathia thing. Well, I can't say I knew that,
That was
for
one,
sure.
like, I had a good
I was
feeling
pretty
on.
sure, but
Right.
I didn't know 100%.
Right, that's one of those I had a good feeling on,
Yeah.
but I couldn't say I knew it.
That was fun, Mike.
Thank you.
Any super chats?
We actually don't have any super chats today. Don't have any super chats.
Interesting.
You said Mark McGwire as a rookie.
Yeah, look at Mark McGwire as a rookie.
Look at his baseball
Look
card.
at Sammy Sosa as a rookie. Look at Barry Bonds as a rookie. They're all skinny as rails. It's funny.
He got a little muscle to him.
McGwire?
Hold on. Let me make sure this is.
I mean,
him
come
as
on.
a rookie. Is this him as a rookie?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he had some arms on him.
Yeah,
like-
but he had arms, but he was skinny as crazy.
Okay.
And by the time he played for the Cardinals, he was built like a truck.
All right, now with the Cardinals.
You know, Sammy Sosa was like a tiny little. What's funny is, right? Look at him now. Let me see this picture. I mean, come on. He's built like a house.
He wasn't on no roids, man, but it is a difference.
Yeah.
It's a big
It's
difference.
100%. I mean, look at that guy. Come on. He used to just destroy the baseball. Mm-hmm. Destroy it.
McGwire only wanted to hit the scoreboard at Progressive Field. Hit the
Yeah.
Budweiser sign with the Cardinals.
I mean, in St. Louis, they have Big Mac Land, which is the second level in left field. The guy's almost never hit home runs there.
Yeah.
He used to hit them there all the time.
Did you see the tanks that Stanton is at the last couple nights in Kansas City?
Well, he's always been a prolific power. Well, between him and Judge is just out of his mind right now.
Judge is playing out of his mind. But
When
Stanton
that guy's
is
hot, he's just
best
it's
player in
crazy.
baseball. Best player in baseball.
Yeah.
But Stanton, the last couple nights, has hit
Right.
some bombs.
Hey,
in
the
Kansas
Yankees
City.
are playing really well. I hate to say it.
Yeah, they are.
I thought they'd not be as good. Last 2 years I've been right about them. This year I look wrong. Anthony Rizzo shot, which makes me sad, but I hate the Yankees. But
Garrett Cole hasn't even thrown a pitch yet.
it's
crazy.
I know.
So Dan Hurley was on the Levitard show this morning, and he said he was asked, "Was there a number you would have left UConn for had the Lakers offered?"
Of course there is.
And he said yes. He goes, money is obviously a factor, not the only factor, but had they reached a certain price, I would be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Which
right
is even more embarrassing. Like
For
the
the
Lakers
Lakers,
have
yeah.
totally botched this.
yeah,
They've
that
totally
offer, I
botched
was
this.
expecting some like
100
crazy
million.
offer.
I thought it'd be 100 million.
That's
Yeah.
probably the number he was
But the
looking
Lakers
for.
historically don't pay their coaches.
Right.
Which was what made this so out of character that they would pick him. I mean, he's a good college coach, but that's the one that you're going to give the 100 million. And
So that means that
How much is he making at UConn?
Right now,
50, wasn't it?
it's well, no one knows because he signed an extension early. He's going to
Yeah.
get another extension, so
Yeah.
he's going to be making double digits. But he got offered $11 million a year to go to Kentucky, which he
Yeah.
turned down. So UConn somewhere came in the range to make that relatively even.
What I don't understand,
I would assume.
I know you guys are going to disagree with me, and obviously none of us live in this kind of world. I mean, Tyvus was the closest playing in the NFL.
Talking about San Francisco, the taxes of California.
No. What I don't understand
I got a screenshot if you want to see what it looked like.
why would you once you've made so much money? Let's say what's he making? What do you think he's making at UConn per year?
Let's say $10 million.
Oh, let's say he's
that
making
is
$10
not
million a year.
uncommon.
Ultimately, if you're making $10 million a year or $15 million a year, what is the difference? I think it's like $5 million. It's no difference. In reality, there's no difference to your life. Your family is set forever.
Yeah, but I mean, 10 million to 15 million is a big difference because when you factor in taxes, how much you're actually taking home, and if you're trying to set up generational wealth, it does make a difference.
Jason,
but you're right, it does reach a point of how much is enough.
Yeah, my point is, once the money's that high, I would never make. For me, again, I don't live in that world. Maybe I would if I did. But once the money's that high, I would always choose the place I'd rather be rather than every last dollar.
A lot of
I
people-
don't understand why guys go for every last dollar in a lot of cases.
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't fault them for that. But I think when you get towards the end, that's when scenery and location does matter.
I'm not even saying I fault them, Tyvus. I just don't understand why. I'd rather be in a comfortable spot and make $10 million than be in a place I'm not sure about and make $13. It's just my life is the same either way.
I'm with you.
$3 million extra spending dollars.
But what you have? Who needs an extra? If you're making $10 million a year, why would you need an extra $3 million?
I can go to Vegas and do this.
I don't. I mean, it's just like a lot of us live good. A lot of us live good lives, and we're not making anywhere close to that money.
I mean, I chose Cleveland over LA. for exactly what you're talking. I could have made a lot more money.
See,
If the
following LeBron,
if the Athletic wanted to send me, like they wanted me to go to LA with LeBron.
We appreciate you.
And, no, you don't.
Yes, we
There's
do.
a lot of people here who wish I went to LA.
well, we're not in that group.
But I could have made I could have made a lot more money going to LA.
But you were like, I like my life here. I don't want to go to
wanna be
LA.
here. I don't want to be in LA. I don't want to raise kids in LA. I
Right.
want to be here.
Get that right there. Turn the camera, Steve.
Now, the thing with places like LA and New York, if you're not from those places,
San
you've
Francisco,
got to make so much more money.
Yes. Just to even break the sink.
That is
all right,
you gotta read the numbers.
That's California
doing?
taxes right there.
All right, now read because we can't see those.
This number, this guy.
Yeah, but Tyvis, when you're making 10-50, you aren't making $10-15 million a year.
So what? I'm still talking about why I wouldn't go to California. Dan Hurley is, Connecticut ain't no better.
it's not like Connecticut's
No, I
low
just say
taxes.
I think they big on taxes too.
Right.
What is California's tax rate? It's
I don't know,
exorbitant.
but I had a $37,000 check before taxes. They took $20,000 out for taxes, and I went home with $15,000.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
San Francisco is the highest. Yeah. It is the highest tax NFL team.
We'll see you later on Overtime. See ya.
Peace.